Darwin Nunez has rejected a move to Saudi as he insists on staying in Europe. Luis Diaz is subject to a bid that is meant to be incoming very soon. Harvey Elliott speaks about his future, and this is a pivotal week in the potential signing of Florian Wirtz. It's Monday, people. You know what that means. Sit back, relax. Welcome to the Monday Night Live show. Let's get into it.
Shout out to Kopish.
Shout out to Kopish, guys.
All the good work.
The two legends, Emil Heskey, Howard Gill. Can't get much better than that guy. Yeah. You know what to do now. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm with legends, guys. Kopish. Yes, lovely people. Hope you're well. Welcome back to the show. As always, please do smash that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. Look, I'm just going to say it from early doors, people. If you're here already, smash the like button now. Literally, close the live chat, hit the like button, you're back in. And if you're watching later on this show, please do it as well. Not just that, we are targeting 1,500 likes on this video. We know you guys can do it, so let's make it happen.
Matt, how you guys doing today?
I'm good, bro. It's Monday. It's another week. Yeah, man. All blessed. All good.
Happy Monday, man. Happy Monday.
It is another Monday.
No, you know what? Even though we're frustrated with the chat with what's going on with the transfers, no day should be a bad day when you're a champion, right?
I'm not.
Yeah, no, agreed.
I'm not upset about the transfer situation at the moment, if I'm going to be honest.
I know some people are getting frustrated, though, Cal. Do you know what I mean? And I do get it to a degree because it's PTSD as Liverpool fans. But yeah. We're champions, man. Try and make every day a good day. Because not many summers you spend champion, right? So let's try and make it more of a bright, happy feeling, you know? Is what it is.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Look, let's start with Darwin Nunez. Darwin Nunez, I think it's one of the worst kept secrets that he's not really too much at Liverpool by Arne Slot. And obviously, towards the end of the season, he looked like he kind of down-tooled and you know, some people could understand where he's coming from. Others were even more frustrated because work rate was one of his biggest weapons at Liverpool and as a player. However, it's come out that he's rejected the move to Al-Hilal, which was a big move, and he's rejected it with a priority wanting to stay in Europe. Matt, I'm going to come to you first on this. Do you think Darwin Nunez has a future at Liverpool, or do you see any way where he could be a potential Liverpool player at the start of the season?
I think the writing's already on the wall for Nunez. Listen, it's been 3 years. It just hasn't worked. We need to cut ties with him. I can't have a guy at him either for if he doesn't want to go Saudi. Do you know what I mean? It's his career. Like, we can't just force him to any club we want him to go to. It's got to make sense for him. I know people might crash out and be like, oh, just get rid of him. I think Liverpool are trying to sell him.
Yeah,
but I
think
also
he made the joke earlier on in the season. Him and
Diaz,
Diaz
he did. Yeah. He said Saudi, him and Diaz in a video. And again, like, I don't know what the offer was, but if he feels like he wants to stay in Europe, you know what I mean? Let him stay in Europe, innit? He feels like he's still got something to offer. Pause. Do you know what I mean? So I don't see him having a Liverpool future. I'll be so shocked, brother, if he's not sold, though. I'll be shocked if, you know, new season starts and he's still a Liverpool player. And I'll be honest, like, well, if he is, we're still going to support him because, like we've always said, if you wear that Liverpool shirt, we will support you. But the moral of the story is this. I do think his career is done. I think Slot kind of made that apparent with the team selection, especially towards the back end of the year, when Nunez couldn't even really get a game and Jota was not doing anything. So it doesn't make any sense to keep him just hanging about. And you got to remember, it's going to be a World Cup year as well. Darwin Nunez needs to play football. So you're going to get a lot of players this season that are going to want to be at clubs where they're going to get, you know, first team game time. And if they don't get that, then they're putting their places up at risk. So I don't expect Darwin to be a Liverpool player at the start of the season, bro. I'll be honest with you.
Fairs. Drift, do you think he should have another chance at Liverpool next season? If so, why?
Without being stupid, do you guys really think I can talk about this and people will take me serious, considering people just always have an agenda when I speak about Nunez? Like, should I really voice my opinion, or should I just leave it to you guys to speak about it?
Oh, you should voice your opinion as long as you're balanced with it.
I'm always balanced, but people will say that I like him, so I'm being biased or whatever. Like, everyone knows I don't have a problem with Nunez. I think he's underappreciated at Liverpool, and I think the pressure and the kind of expectation to be a Liverpool striker might be a little bit much for him, but there's a talent there if you can find a way to get it out. If he stays, I have absolutely zero issue with it. Can we upgrade him? Yes. Should we upgrade on him? Yeah. Do I have a problem with him staying though? Not in the slightest. Not in the slightest.
So when you say could we upgrade, all right. So let's break this down then. So, in what capacity would you say he should stay then? And how would you say he's underappreciated, for example?
Me personally, if you forget the price tag, I think Nunez should 1000% be Liverpool's backup striker, and then you go and buy your Isak or your Alvarez, and then you got a top quality option off the bench. Remember, I've argued this for about a year, so you guys know I'm being consistent. I've said, yeah, I agree. It's time to upgrade on him and get that gunman who is going to get you the 30 goals in the league or whatever, like an Isak or what have you. But he is a great option off the bench. If you make Nunez feel loved and appreciated, which is what I agree with Matt, that in the second half of this season Slot didn't. If the people keep abusing him in the social media and within the fan base, then he's going to get to a point where if you lot ask me, he actually was like, well, fuck you all. That's what it looked like to me. He stopped making runs. He stopped pressing well. He stopped doing all the things he was doing at the beginning when he felt loved. Because he was like, well, what am I doing all this for? They criticize me anyway. But if you start making him realize that he is appreciated for what he does do, and then he goes back to making that effort, he's a quality option off the bench. So forget the price tag, which is what I think most people do. If Nunez cost us 15 mil, I don't think people will mind him being backup. But people keep on saying because he costs 80 mil, he can't be backup. Which I get it under the FSG model. Yes, I totally understand what you lot are saying. But maybe we're moving differently now. Maybe Liverpool are going to loosen the purse strings a bit. Maybe we don't really think about money now. We just think about talent. And as far as talent goes, nobody can tell me he ain't a quality option off the bench. Nobody. You can hate him all you want, but he is a quality second striker. If you've got your gunman already, he is a quality second striker. He's come off the bench and changed the game for us on numerous occasions. So the proof's in the pudding. So
would you say that he is a top quality option off the bench though, and in rotation? Because as you said, he needs to feel love and appreciated. He also needs, for me, he's a player that needs rhythm. Do you not think that becomes more of a hindrance to him?
No, I don't think he needs rhythm, Cal. I just think he stopped caring. I think he's proven on numerous occasions he can be on the bench for 2-3 games, come off the bench for the last 20 and make an impact in that game. I just think he stopped caring because he was getting a lot of criticism. And he knows that we've always said that they know what we say, right? They do watch like social media.
No, they definitely do.
And all he's hearing is he's shit, he's trash, get him out, he's shit, he's trash, get him out. That's all he's hearing. So as a human, he's fed up now. He's like, I can't be out. And then on top of that, with the manager giving up on him, as Matt said, then he's like, Ross, if the manager's not going to pick me and then people are going to be criticizing me, then hell, what am I making effort for? But I don't think it's a no way back scenario because it hasn't got that bad. I watched Xhaka come back from telling the crowd, sticking the middle finger up at the crowd. I saw him come back from that. So Nunez can come back from this back and forward with the fans about criticism, and he can overcome the manager not trusting him and all that kind of stuff. He can. So forget the money for a minute. He is a good quality backup, as he's proved.
We say forget the money, Drift. Should we forget the money, though?
Of course. Of course.
Why, though?
If everyone's going to sit here and tell me it doesn't matter how much a player costs as long as he's good, then why do we have to care about how much he costs the visa substitute?
But isn't this what we do? We do this to rival fans as well, though, right?
Do we?
Yeah, of course we do.
And what you banter and laugh at someone else about is different to what's the reality if you're having a serious conversation. Yeah, of course we're going to be like, how about some 300 grand a week sitting on your bench? Ha, ha, ha. Of course we're going to do that. But at the end of the day, if Arsenal can afford for Havertz to be back up and then they're going to get Gyökeres and then they win the league, who's laughing? They are, right? Like, all the banter is irrelevant. If we keep on being successful with Nunez as a backup, contributing to 10, 15 goals a season, couple of assists throwing in there, coming off the bench in all comps, but we have a Haaland or we have a Isak, or we have a Alvarez, or we have somebody like that who's the real bagsman, it's just a win-win for all of us.
Do you know what? I'll say this, yeah. Take the money out of the situation. Forget how much he costs, yeah. The problem with Darwin Nunez, he can't be trusted. This is the problem. So, you see, when you were saying like the mentality, I think when he first arrived at Liverpool, he had that street mentality. He's gonna fight no matter what, right? And I think he's got the right mentality, believe it or not. Even for all the madness that happened last year, him not being picked ahead of Jota when Jota weren't really doing that, right? The problem with Darwin Nunez, though, is too hot and cold. He can't be trusted. And I do feel like the lights are too bright for him at Liverpool. Sometimes it just doesn't work. For example, it didn't work for Naby Keita. Like, yes, injuries, but it just didn't work. As much as I rate Keita, it didn't work. It didn't work for Ox. Injuries, it didn't work. There's plenty of players it didn't work for. The reason why I think Darwin kind of needs to go, in my opinion, is, do you remember when we had Origi? We could trust Origi. So you see, when you're saying quality off the bench, that's where I agree with you, because Origi was a clutch bagsman off the bench. Now, Nunez has done it, but he's done it nowhere near as consistently as Origi. Origi is someone who you would maybe go, do you know what? Let's keep him around unless we get a crazy offer. Do you know what? Let's keep him. Darwin doesn't have that for me, because Origi, under the bright lights, that's when he was actually at his best, believe it or not. When a game was kind of didn't have nothing on the line, Origi was all right. But when the lights were really bright, Origi came alive. And that's the difference, in my opinion, between Darwin and Origi. So we've had 3 seasons of Darwin. I think his first season was introductory. Second season, I thought was pretty decent, actually, to be fair. I actually think it was pretty decent when you look at it. Third season, he went back to his first season. So now you're asking a guy who got fed up with Liverpool, he knows it's a World Cup year, to now be backup. That's not going to work for Darwin. Darwin needs to play football. Now, if he wants to play football on a consistent basis and be the guy that you believe he's going to be with, then he would need to go, because he's not going to get that regular first team football at Liverpool. Now, you're saying option off the bench. This is a World Cup year. He wants to play football. Hence why you said, like, maybe he just got fed up with all the abuse and rare-tete. He's like, you know, I've had enough. So even for the player, it will be best for him to have a new environment where he can thrive in that environment and kind of rebuild his career, where his Liverpool career kind of stagnated. Would you not agree with that?
Yeah, but we're not talking about him. We're talking about the benefit of the team, though. If it's about him, then yes, he should leave. But we're talking about the benefit of the team, right? That's the
of course.
conversation. And he is beneficial to the team as a backup forward because he does have quality.
Luis Diaz is a better backup striker.
What everybody likes to do is pick and choose.
Jim, just before you continue, I was going to, just off what Matt said there, given a choice out of him, Jota and Diaz drift, how would you rank them in terms of who's the best strikers out of those 3?
Well, you're talking about their natural finishing? Like, what are we talking about?
Everything from what we've seen at Liverpool, everything. How do you rate them? Because we can't really speak about natural ability, because natural ability doesn't mean that much when we're talking about.
But it comes into it, though, because if you're talking about natural ability, Diaz is the best out of all 3 of them. If you're just talking about finishing and being a striker, then Jota's the best.
Overall, as a striker, hold up play.
Overall, as a striker, it's Jota, Diaz. It's Jota, Nunez, Diaz. That's the order. If you're talking about just being a striker, that's the order.
See, I think it would be actually Nunez at the bottom at the moment.
I know, but that doesn't surprise me because nobody likes Diaz. Nunez. That's the reason why I said I don't like talking about Nunez.
It's not about liking or disliking. It's
of course it is, because it makes everyone's view biased. Even if you don't realize you're doing it, it's a subconscious bias or it's a blatant bias of, like, you just think about the bad moments and you go, nah, fuck this. I can't be asked with this Nunez guy anymore.
I can justify my reason. It's nothing about liking or disliking Nunez. I can justify my reason. In the same way you just said that you think it's bias, I could turn around and say you're rating Nunez out of bias as well. I'm not doing that. I'm saying it's the reason I would put Nunez bottom of the list is I think Jota's the best finisher out of all of them. I think he's the best header of a ball out of all of them. I think he's the most intelligent in front of goal and in the final third. I think Diaz is the best dribbler. I think Diaz has the best approach play. I think he's the best at finding pockets of space. And I think he's a better passer than Darwin. And I think Darwin has got more pace than the others. I think he's more powerful than the others. And he's got the ability to be clutch. But I don't think that's enough to be better than the other 2. It's not about liking or disliking them. Everyone knows my choice of who I'd want as a striker.
Yeah, but again, that's subjective down to your opinion, which is obviously what this is about, right? It's opinion. So I respect what you're saying. But he has a 1 in 2 GA at Liverpool. He has 66 goals and assists in 140 games. So basically a 1 in 2. People act like he's this bum who's never contributed anything to Liverpool.
That's not 1 in 2, but also if you
That
look
is
at
1 in 2. Well, basically.
Well, if you look at the amount of chances he's missed and the amount of things he's got wrong as well, that's
Exactly. You're proving my point, bro. Everybody thinks about the negative with Nunez. Nobody thinks about the positive with Nunez.
I'm not proving your point. I'm showing that there's a balance to the argument. You've only just said the good things, so I'm saying the things that are also on the other side of it. There's two sides.
Why don't we think about how many chances Alan Shearer missed?
Because
we think he had great stats, right? But Alan Shearer probably missed just as many gilt-edged chances across his career, but he's got more goals, so nobody cares. So people are judging Nunez way more harshly.
No,
you would judge other people.
Hold on, Matt. All right. If Haaland and Nunez probably makes the same amount of big chances this season, right?
Yeah.
But Haaland sticks away 30 more goals.
That's why he's a first-team striker and Nunez becomes a backup striker.
But forget about that. So it's not about remembering the good and the bad. If the good is if the good outweighs the bad, then you don't think about the bad as much. If the bad outweighs the good,
it doesn't outweigh the good with Nunez. It's even. He's just sometime-ish. The bad doesn't outweigh the good. It's even. It's sometime-ish. He's 50-50. We all know that. If he's an on goal, it's 50-50. It's not he's guaranteed to miss. It's 50-50.
It's not at the moment, no. It shows it's not 50-50, Drew.
Well, like I said, we're not taking
the stats literally prove it's not 50-50.
We're not taking into consideration a lot of other things, but again, like I said, this is why I don't like talking about Nunez, because everybody seems to not want to accept my opinion on it. Everyone tells me I'm wrong. You can look at the comments. I even can see it on you lot's face. You all disagree with me. So what's the point of me keep talking about him? I just can't be bothered to talk about Nunez anymore.
It's a conversation.
No, it is a conversation, but there's no point in having a conversation when nobody wants to listen to what you have to say. Nobody. When it comes to Nunez, nobody cares. He's not good enough. Get rid of him. That's it. That's all any Liverpool fan at the moment thinks. So I can't be asked to keep wasting my breath giving reasons as to why I think he's good enough. Because as soon as I do, no one goes, all right, fair enough. Everyone goes, nah, let me tell you why you're wrong, Drift. So what the fuck am I wasting my time for?
I'm not telling you why you're wrong. I'm giving you another side of an opinion. There's two sides to a coin, right?
Effectively, counteracting any point I make is telling me I'm wrong.
No, it's not. It's bringing a balance to an argument, Drift. If I was to sit here and tell you Deontay Wilder's a crap boxer, and then you turn around and say, but Cal, look at his knockout power, look how many wins he's got. That's not you saying I'm wrong. That's you saying, Cal, there's another side of the argument. Have you looked at this? Not once have I said you're wrong.
So if I talk about the fact that off the bench, Nunez has got more winning goals than any other striker in the Premier League in the last 2 seasons, is that not statistical fact that he's a good option off the bench? That he's got the most game-winning moments, whether it be an assist or a goal, off the bench in the last 2 seasons.
If that is a factual comment,
it is, yeah. I think it's 8 goals and assists off the bench in the last 2 seasons. It's more than I think Duran was the only other one, but Duran's gone Saudi now. So Nunez is statistically the best striker off the bench. Is this in
the Premier or in all competitions?
I think it's all competitions, but it's definitely it's out of Premier League teams across the last 2 seasons.
So if I was to ask you, would you rather him or him? In fact, I'll ask you, Matt, him, Diaz, or Jota as the bench option, who would it be for striker?
As things stand, Diaz. Because Jota, I know Jota just could be the injury, but I'm a little bit more worried it could be something more with Jota and that he's in a decline. Nunez, I've given my reasons already. I think I was quite fair when I was speaking about Nunez. And remember, this is just my opinion. It's not gospel, it's just my opinion. But I just think when a player's been at a club for 3 years, you kind of know what you're getting. You know who they are, right? We can kind of judge within that time frame to know how good they're going to be or how good they could be. It's very rare that a striker or just a player has a very, very, 3 different in different seasons and then makes a comeback and can win the crowd back and even the manager. I'm just saying from a footballing perspective, yeah. We're Liverpool Football Club. There's a reason why we bought Darwin Nunez. We thought at that point the club felt he was the right guy, and it hasn't worked out. It's okay to say it hasn't worked out. There's many players that it hasn't worked out with. So he's just another player on that list. I don't understand why, in my opinion, it's a big thing. But I get it because players have fan bases. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so I understand, people are going to defend Darwin. All I'm saying is that if we want to stay at the top of the mountain and win a Premier League and a Champions League next year, these are the type of players that we need to upgrade upon. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because we can do that. He's not indispensable. So therefore, a player that you can get good money for, we're actually better off selling and see if we can get someone better. That's how I see it anyway.
Drift. Obviously, you get two sides of the fan base, and I think you get a few people who are in the middle, whereby you get some people who I think overrate Darwin. You get some people who have treated Darwin like trash as well. Do you think Liverpool would be weakening their squad if they sold Darwin Nunez right now and bought in another striker, for example?
Well, it would just depend who the striker was that came in.
Let's say it's Ollie Watkins.
I think it would stay the same. Because Watkins would be off the bench as well, right? And I don't know if off the bench Watkins would be effective. He seems like a guy who's better when he starts every game. So if Watkins was a substitute for Liverpool, I don't know how that would look. He missed just as many big chances as Nunez.
Do you think Darwin does stay at Liverpool then? Do you think we are able to? Because I don't think it's a case of we want to keep him, but if we can't find a seller or we don't get someone who offers what we want, he stays.
That's why I think he'll stay.
Do you as well?
I think he'll stay.
The reason why I think he might not stay because it's more about him and what he wants as well, not just the club. So he might be pushing for a move. Again, it's World Cup year. So if it's World Cup year, you're not gonna want to be a rotational option. That's how I'm looking at it like that as well. Like players want to play. There's other players that we're going to speak about later who's in the same boat. Is it better for their careers, to move on and try and play first team football somewhere else? So it's
can I ask you a question? But I'd like the people to answer it before you lot do. Yeah. So give it 2 minutes and let me see some of the people from the comments' answers. And then if you guys want to answer, then answer. If Nunez is so crap, if Nunez isn't good enough, if Nunez is a flop, if all of these things are true, why do you all believe that 30 or 40 mil isn't enough for Nunez? And why do you scuffer at the idea of somebody paying us less than that? Just let the people answer before you lot do, if you lot have got an answer. I just want to know. People in the comments, let me know, because I see a massive contradiction in what the majority of people are saying about what the club should value him at based on what their individual opinion is of him. And it makes no sense to me at all. So I just want people to just give me that answer. Why do you think Liverpool should sell him for more than 30 mil if you think he's shit?
You jump to answer?
Do you answer now or do you want to wait for the comments?
I don't know if anyone in the comments is going to be able to answer me. So maybe you lot can just answer it if you want. But it is literally a contradiction.
So I'll give you it from my point of view. I don't think he is worth more than that amount, but I want more than that amount as a selling club so that we can reinvest it into the squad. If I'm going to be completely honest and transparent, I think as of right now, Darwin Nunez is probably a £30 million player at best. And that's being generous given his last 3 years.
But then explain how that makes sense apart from being either delusional or how can anybody expect someone to pay more than what the value of the player is?
Because if they value the player and want the player, then they'll try and sign the player. And we've seen.
But why would they want him if he's shit?
I've never once called him. This is what I'm saying.
No, I just mean in general. Our fan base. When I say it, I'm talking to all 1,200 people, not just you two. So I know it seems like because we're talking, I'm talking to you. Yeah. But everybody who's watching, the majority of people think he's shit, but the majority of people think 30 mil isn't enough.
Yeah.
So I'm so confused. It's just delusion at that point.
Because
You
we've
don't
seen,
rate him, but you want somebody else to
because
pay
we've
a
seen
lot.
we've seen the going rate for players, and we've also seen an actual bid coming for him for around that price mark. So we are going to try.
Saudi is such a skewed way to look at things.
Yeah,
And Saudi is not a realistic way of looking
But
at
Saudi,
anything.
but Saudi is a different market. This is why you
But
see when people
he don't want to go Saudi. So what do we do?
no, agreed. He doesn't want to go Saudi, but
This
the
is where
reason
the
why
issue comes in.
yeah, so he doesn't want to go Saudi, but remember, Saudi will reportedly offering around 70 million euros, something like that in it. But remember, Saudi's market is different to European in it. So it's almost like you can nearly double what they're really worth, so to speak. That's
that's the only answer I've got from the people in the chat.
This is what I'm saying.
Saudi. So forget Saudi. He don't want to go.
All right,
Saudi.
so let's say
in Europe, how do we get more than 35 mil for Nunez?
You got to understand something. If a player doesn't work for you, doesn't mean he wouldn't work for someone else. This is kind of like how football works. We don't rate a player; another club rates the player. The buying club is willing to pay what they think he is worth. We're obviously going to try and extract as much as we can. It's as simple as that, in my opinion. So, like in my opinion, Nunez, I'll be honest, Nunez cows about 30 mil, really and truly. But we got to try.
30 mil is being generous,
and we got to try and, if we can, as a selling club, inflate that as much as we can. And you have to remember, the buying club are buying Nunez because they think they can do something with the player, in it. They think that
why would they be shit though? That's the question I'm asking. Why do people expect there to be teams who want him if we think he's so shit?
No, but you're missing the point. I don't understand. If Liverpool Football Club think a player is bad, but Atletico Madrid think a player is good, why should that stop Atletico buying a player that we don't rate?
No, it shouldn't. But why would you expect them to pay more than what he's worth if you don't? That it's just, it doesn't make any sense. It's like
no, I am making sense though. No, I'm making sense because
if I said to you, I don't rate this car anymore. This car's broken. There's half of the times in the morning.
If you're not hearing what I'm saying, though, bro,
I need to get rid of this car, and you know it's got the problem starting in the morning. How can I expect you to pay more for it than what it's worth?
Drift. If we don't rate a player, no matter what his value is, we don't rate him. We're willing to sell him, right? The buying club, they want to buy him. They see something in him. We're selling.
But there is no buying club. Nobody wants to buy him at the moment.
Drift. When Arsenal sold Ox, we paid 40 mil. People laughed at us and were like, "What are you doing?" Klopp and the team saw something in Ox, so we paid that 40 mil, and we were made. Even though it was a short period, we were able to extrapolate a massive amount of potential and get some very good football out of Ox, right?
But everyone knew he was a quality player. It was just injury concerns that was always the issue. He was never looked at as a bad footballer.
No, regardless though, Drift. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Arsenal didn't really value him like that. So when we went in with 40 mil, they bit our hand off for it because they're thinking to themselves, 40 mil for Ox. We're playing this guy wing back. He ain't nothing special in this team. We brought him in. Klopp turned him into something special, even though it was for a short period, and we got the last laugh effectively at the time.
I mean, that is slightly wrong though, bro, because he only had 1 year left and he didn't want to re-sign, and Liverpool capitalized on it. It wasn't that they didn't think he was good enough. He had 1 year left and he didn't want to sign a new contract. So we capitalized.
That's even more reason. 40 mil going into last year, but we bought him for a high 35
amount. Add-ons. But the point I'm making is that I'm not saying nobody will want Nunez, but why are people expecting this astronomical fee? Wow, well, if we get 50, 60 mil for Nunez, then we can reinvest. How can you expect that much money for a player you think is trash?
We were expecting that from Saudi because we wanted it from Saudi.
Remember, the fans and everybody are looking as well how much we paid for him. We're going to try and recoup as much as we can, even if we don't rate him. You're trying to recoup what you spent on something. You're going to try your best to extrapolate what you can in it. Not only that, I'll give you an example. Look at Dominic Solanke. He scored 1 goal for us. We sold him for like 20 mil. He didn't do anything. He scored 1 goal. We just said, you know what? We'll cut our ties with him. Even though we had potential, we're going to cut our ties. Bournemouth said, you know what? All right, cool. You lot might not rate him now, but we've got a plan for Solanke. They bought him. Look what Solanke did. Got his move to Spurs. There you go.
He was younger and he had to be willing to go there.
Drift. No one's expecting astronomical fees from
Forget the age. I'm just talking about the player that we don't really rate. If we rated him, we would have kept him. Any player you rate, you keep. That's a fact. You don't sell players you rate. You really don't. If you really rate a player, you don't sell them because you rate them. You're only selling a player.
Okay. Well, how
Only
comes
we-
it's different when I talk about Real Madrid players then?
Oh my drift. Hear what I'm saying? Darwin Nunez.
No, but I've told you that before. I've said I don't want to play Real Madrid don't want anymore because clearly there must be a reason Real Madrid don't want him anymore. And you argued that, and now you're literally making the same point I've been trying to say.
Because
Okay.
the players that
There
Real
can be.
Madrid-
Can I be real, Drift? There are
Right.
exceptions to the rule. I'm gonna say majority.
Oh.
Majority of time, bro. Players. All right. I'll give an example.
No, I
Real
agree
Madrid.
with you, bro. Because this
Real-
is what I'm
Hear me out. Hear me out.
say.
Real Madrid. Ozil, for example. They rated Ozil, but they thought, you know what? We rate him, but could we sell him for a high fee and do something more? It happens in football. But what I'm saying is the majority of the time, you're going to get teams that if they've got an issue with the player, they're trying to get rid of him, they're going to sell him. Here's the killer, bro. The writing's already on the wall, man. Arne Slot has said it so many times. He don't trust him. He said it in not so many words. He wasn't impressed with his work ethic or whatever. And now you expect him to stay. And now the selling thing you're talking about is why are fans asking for a certain amount? Oh, why? It's because we spent 75 mil, bro. He actually set us back 3 years.
You've got to cut your. He didn't set us back 3 years. We've won 3 trophies since he come.
Shall I tell you why he said it? Shall I tell you in my opinion? No, let me answer this. I'll tell you why he set us back 3 years. If Darwin Nunez was the gunman that he was supposed to be, we wouldn't be in the market for a striker. There we go.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he set us back because we haven't gone backwards. We've gone forwards. So I think that's a disingenuous thing. And
we used the left winger as a striker. We used the left winger.
That's still
as a backup
disingenuous
striker.
to say that we've gone backwards because of Nunez. We
I
just
never
won
said
the
backwards. Furthermore, I did say
league. He set us back. That's not true if we just won the league, though.
Drift, he set us back, bro. He has. Naby Keita set us back. Bro, Naby Keita was supposed to come in and change the midfield.
No, Naby Keita didn't set us back. We
Yes,
won
he
3
did,
or 4 trophies with Naby Keita.
It sounds crazy. I know what you're saying, and I kind of agree with you because they won stuff, but Drift, they kind of have set us back because, you know, here's the horrible truth, bro. If Naby Keita didn't get injured, I think he still would have played a longer role at Liverpool. If Darwin Nunez was more consistent in front of goal and like he kept on like year after year was getting better and better, I think the club are like, do you know what? It's cool. He's getting better and better each year. But now that we're if we're in the market for a striker, that means you have an issue with the strikers that are currently at the club, right? And the one that seems to be in the firing line is Darwin. Remember, Darwin was supposed to come in as Liverpool's main striker and take pressure off Salah. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be disingenuous and say he hasn't done that because, like you said, we won trophies. But the overall general consensus is if he was good enough, he wouldn't even be in the situation that he's in now, bro. In my opinion, anyway. We'll be looking at him like, when have we got to worry about a striker, bro? We got Darwin. That's what was supposed to happen. Would you agree with that?
I get that.
And that's what I mean when I said it. So it might sound harsh, maybe the way I said it, but it's more of a case of like, if he was going on crazy, we wouldn't even need to be speaking about a striker. We wouldn't have to worry about getting Isak and them guys there because we got Darwin.
It doesn't mean he set us back. We're buying a number 10. 2 years ago, we bought a number 10 for 60 million. Does that mean that Szoboszlai is an issue in the team then?
Szoboszlai and Florian Wirtz, in my opinion, I can already see what's going to happen though. That's a different scenario.
No, but you get my point. If Nunez becoming a bench player would be the same as Szoboszlai's role in the team changing as well, right? We paid 60 mil for him, and now we're replacing him with another player. It's the same principle, but it doesn't mean Szoboszlai set us back. It just means it didn't work out the way we thought it would.
But Szoboszlai has had a really big mainstay in Liverpool winning the league, whereas Darwin Nunez hasn't, though.
Yeah, but Darwin Nunez contributed 33 goals last season and everyone acted like he did nothing. So I'm saying it's still an unfair judgment.
No, I said he had a pretty good second year. That was the second year, but but
my point is, somebody who has 33 goal contributions is not a bum, is not a waste man, is not all the things people call him. That's my point. You know what I mean? Like, we went around Europe and there wasn't even more than 10 strikers who did that.
Hold on one second. Wait, hold on. Sorry, Matt. So why do we call Jonathan David a bum then if it's just about stats?
I've never called him a bum. I just don't want him at Liverpool. I've never said he's a bum. I just don't think he's... And if you're going to replace Nunez, at least replace him with someone better.
No, but if it's just about stats, why isn't Gyökeres called the best striker in the world? Why isn't Jonathan David the most wanted striker right now? Because there's got to be context, right?
Yeah, but there's
So,
never
so
context
it's well
added
and
with
good saying
Nunez.
31 GA and 31 goal contribution, whatever. But what's the context behind it?
Some of them are winners and in very important goals.
Some of
That's the
them weren't.
context
And
behind it.
also some of those have also been some of those games. He's also cost us games as well. So this notion of just forget about the bad and just think about the 31 GA. What happened in the other 2 seasons as well? Because last season, barring I think 3 games in the league, you wouldn't say he massively contributed. So we can't have it one way and not the other.
Not
'Cause
massively
if we're just
contributed,
going
but
on
he definitely
stats,
contributed.
if we're
He
just
still
going on
contributed.
stats, no, everyone contributed, but there's mainstays
I mean,
and there's
it
non-mainstays.
depends how you look at it.
Oh, if that's the case, then I'll say Chiesa contributed. Chiesa popped in with a couple goals, right? Did he
No,
get an
but they
assist?
weren't significant, were they? So it wasn't like.
Okay, so that's my point.
But
Context.
Nunez got some significant contributions last
and
season,
he also had
numerous times.
and he also had significant moments where he cost us points as well.
No, a striker can't cost you points. A striker can just stop you from winning, but he doesn't cost you points. Defenders and goalkeepers cost you points because you lose points.
So you just said a striker can stop you from winning, so that means they're costing you points.
No, but costing you points means you've got less points than you were supposed to have.
Yeah, so if he's meant to score a goal,
if you're drawing the game and Nunez misses a goal, yes, you could have had more, but you didn't take anything away. If a defender makes a mistake and you draw and then you lose the game, you lost a point. So I don't really think you can say strikers lose you points.
I think they can. I'll give an example. If a striker
they can gain you points, but I don't think they can lose you.
Sorry, Matt. So all right, so let's say we're drawing the game 1-1 and we get a penalty. And we missed a penalty. What is it?
You didn't gain, but you didn't lose anything, though. You didn't gain anything, and he should have gained you points, but you didn't lose any points by him missing the penalty.
So
it depends which way you. Because if you're saying he's lost us points, I don't think that's true.
All right,
I don't think can lose you points.
In footballing terms, there's a better way of saying it. If it's nil 90th minute, a ball gets played in as an open goal and the striker misses the goal, it's called he cost you the game. He's cost you points. It's football terms. He's cost you the game.
I mean, if you want to look at it like that, then fair enough. But if you don't lose any, I think defenders cost you.
No, but it's cost you the game. However you look at play, it's cost you the game. If a striker misses a very, 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 very good opportunity, whether it's penalty or an open goal, it's cost you. It's cost you the game. That's how we look at it in footballing terms, isn't it? It cost you the game.
If people have got such great memories on how many times Nunez has cost us points, when he's missing these chances, how many of these times when he's missing chances do we not win the game? Because I'm curious about that as well, because I haven't actually paid attention to that. But I can guarantee you, it ain't actually that many games we haven't won where Nunez has missed chances.
No, probably not as many games, but that doesn't lessen.
So that means he's not costing us. I'm just curious. Like, yeah, it can be frustrating, but I want somebody to actually tell me how many times he's actually cost us with the chance he's missed. Because I don't even think anyone even knows.
Someone has to
they just make assumptions because they're annoyed at him.
So let me ask you a question, Drew. If he misses 5 chances in a game and we win a game 1-0, is that not an issue?
It's an issue, but it didn't cost us the game.
No, but it doesn't have to cost you the game for it to be a massive issue. Surely
it doesn't. People are going to tell me he's costing us games.
No, but there are examples of that. But surely prevention is better than cure, right? Because
alarming.
If someone continues to,
I would say, personally,
if someone continues to miss chances despite the team winning, that person effectively is a problem to the team because it's making the team work harder for 3 points, which has a knock-on effect for the rest of the season. So it is a problem.
Yeah.
So I don't get what the argument is then.
You said he cost us games, so I'm just saying I'm curious as to how many times he's actually cost us games.
I said that in reference to you saying that he got 31 GA that season. And I said, yeah, he did get 31 GA, but he also cost us points that season. So it can't just be you just look at one set of stats and ignore the other set of stats. For example, if I had a goalkeeper,
I'm not ignoring them. I'm just saying nobody gives him credit for the positive. That's what I'm saying. Nobody gives Nunez credit for the positive.
No, Drift. When he scores goals, people will say, do you know what Nunez scored? Listen, the reason why we're here is
they
because
say he's still a bum.
No, but Drift, here's the killer. If we're having this conversation about someone who's been at the club for 3 years and we're having this conversation now about him, that actually means there's an issue, though. whoever the player is, bruv, this could be any player. It just happens to be him, though. It's one of them ones where it's like, bruv, when you put on that Liverpool shirt, I know you might not agree, you might not believe this, but bro, everybody wanted him to succeed because he's our player. Why do we want a player to not work for Liverpool? So therefore, we now have to find a way to replace them. Whenever someone puts on that shirt, we support them. The same thing goes even, I don't want to bring him up, Trent Alexander-Arnold, right? We don't like what he's done, but when he wears that red shirt on that pitch, he's still a Liverpool player. The point is, we supported Darwin when he was there. It hasn't worked though, bro. It hasn't. And it has, and this has happened to many players.
No, but you're not acting like I didn't tell you that I know that he's ready to become a squad player and not the first 11 player. I'm not sitting there saying he should still be our gunman.
No. All right.
I'm not sitting there saying that.
No. You're saying that, but do you think he would want to do that in a World Cup year? Because this is what you see. If it was on World Cup, year,
I don't think Uruguay has enough forwards for him to have to worry about his space in the national side. They don't have enough strikers for him to have to worry about that. Maybe his form, he might be thinking. But his place in the squad isn't at risk.
We can't sit there and say that, Drift, because we've seen many managers, you know, if they think a player is really, really badly out of form, they won't play them, bro. And plus, he wants to go into a World Cup.
I don't know. International football, bro, has all kinds of different rules. You say
it does. It does.
Get in the side play. He ain't got no risk of not being in that Uruguay 26-man squad.
No.
There's no way he's not going.
No, I'm not saying he won't be in the squad. He wants to know that he's going to be the starting Uruguayan striker, the guy. He wants to know that.
Enough.
And he's going to feel a lot more comfortable knowing that he's banging in goals week in, week out. If he's at Liverpool and he's coming off the bench, that's not filling him with confidence. He probably gets in just because he's Darwin and because he's been in the setup for so many years now.
And because he's one of their best players.
But it's still risky though, bro. Remember, I'm just trying to think of Darwin's perspective. Any footballer going into World Cup year wants to be playing week in, week out because they want to make sure that they're certified.
What's more risky? Even though a World Cup's every 4 years, so you never know when you're going to not play in a World Cup again. So I get you do have to think about it. But what's more important is the overall balance of your career. And he's not just going to go somewhere for a World Cup and then be like, for the rest of his career, oh, shit, why did I do this? So therefore, he's in a situation where he has to make a very important decision. And at 25, 26 years old, just because everyone in our fan base is like, get rid of this bum, doesn't mean he should just go any and everywhere just so Liverpool fans could be happy.
I agree. That's why he's not going to
destroy the rest of his career.
No, but that's why I agree with you.
He'll be a Liverpool player more so because he's going to be like, well, why would I go there for?
No, but Drift, that's why I agree. Remember, I don't know if you did see this. When I said him not going to Saudi, turning it down, I can't blame him for that. He's got to think about the rest of his career. But what I am going to say is this: him wanting to stay in Europe, I understand that because you play in Europe, you got a better chance.
He's thinking about himself.
So he's going to be thinking about himself for next season, bro. Whether it's whoever thinks they can get Darwin Nunez, he's going to be thinking, do you know what? If I've got a chance to play in Europe for a good team, he should take the opportunity.
I'll give you a perfect example of it. When we got that offer from Wolves for 20 mil for Origi and Origi turned it down. Origi turned it down because he didn't want to leave a top-class club like Liverpool and go be in a relegation battle with Wolves. And that's basically what everyone's telling Nunez to do. Just go. I don't really care where you go, bro. Just go. But he's going to be thinking, why am I going to go to any and anyone? I need to make sure I want to be at
I understand that. Yeah, I understand that.
That's how this whole conversation's on that premise of if he doesn't go to a club in Saudi and no one in Europe comes in with an offer that we see viable, is he going to stay at the club? And is that the right thing to do? Because you could effectively end up lowering his value if he stays at the club because he might not play as many minutes as he got last season, or he might have another bad season. But then again, he could have a good season and his value gets higher.
Plus,
and
the manager.
That's the premise I started the whole conversation on when I said, I get where he's coming from.
Yeah.
And I don't think he'll leave because no one's going to give us the money the club want, because the club want a lot of money for him. And I don't think the clubs that have got the money to pay want him.
All right, I could be wrong in this. I think Slot's already told him to look for a new club. Personally, that's what I think has happened. Managers always have them talks with certain players towards the end of the season and be like, listen, just to give you a heads up, listen, nothing but love and respect, but I think you find a new club. I think he's already been told. I think he's trying to find a new club. Now, finding a new club is not easy, but if the manager's told you, I mean, again, I don't know this. I'm just saying this is what I think. If this is true, though, you can't stay because the writing's on the wall for next season. So if the manager's told you you're not in my plans and you're gonna stay, it's gonna be a long season, bro. It's gonna be a long. You're gonna see Endo false 9 before you see Nunez because the manager's told you find a new club. And Slot,
Yeah,
I could be so wrong.
Remember, managers have to kind of be realistic as well. So yes, he might want Nunez to go, but if he has to deal with Nunez being in the squad because no one can buy him, then he has to find a way to fit him in.
No, he will, but he'll get. The problem is for Darwin though, and this is what will frustrate him more. He'll get garbage time minutes. This is the problem. He doesn't remember. Darwin's not going to want garbage time minutes, especially after seeing Jota get locked up so many times, and Darwin sitting on the bench thinking he's going to play the next game.
I'm going to ask you guys: does he go on loan potentially? Does he go on loan, or do Liverpool hold out for a sell?
There could be a loan with an obligation.
I don't think a loan's a good idea, Cal, because he's got 2 years left on his contract, so his value is only high now, as high as it even will be. Nunez with only 1 year left on his deal, and everyone knows Liverpool don't want him. What are you going to get for him? 15 mil max?
Yeah.
So if we don't sell him this summer, we might as well just give him a new contract to keep his value up.
Unless, as Matt said, loan to obligation.
Loan with obligation.
Yeah, but remember, they can pay you 5 mil and tell you to shove your obligation. Look what Chelsea just did to they literally had Sancho on loan with an obligation, but there's a clause that says you can pay them and say we don't want him anymore.
But they put that in the clause, bro.
It was an obligation, Cal. That's why they got to pay him to send them back. That's why they got to pay them to send him back.
No. Michael Edwards can literally put in a contract obligation to buy.
Yeah, you have to
we
buy
can
it.
Then, as the selling club, put whatever fee we want. So let's say, for example, we say Atletico, it's an obligation. And if you don't agree with this obligation, we're going to set up. You're going to pay us 70 mil. You know, we can set that, and if they sign that, they would.
High.
No, I'm giving you an example. We can set whatever terms we like. That's how it works in these contracts, bro. You see the obligation, the selling club can put whatever fee they want as the obligation the team would have to pay. So even a penalty, you know, we control that. They don't. Man United was just stupid. We control that.
Well, I don't think anyone's going to agree if we put some astronomical amount in there, are we? So,
no. But what I'm saying is, if a team wants Darwin, remember, all the terms is set up by the selling club. Whatever terms we set, they would have to abide.
The most we get is 10 mil and he comes back then.
So,
because I don't think anyone would give us more than that.
Right, so, let's have these.
Again, I'm happy with him being a squad player.
Matt's hairline. Hey, Drift, how you doing?
I'm doing well, bro.
Jada,
be careful, Matt's hairline.
Samuel Omarodian in January.
You got Matt's hairline, my brother, you know. Matt's hairline, that's my G.
I don't know if I want a Lukaku region. I gotta be honest, bro.
What Sammy Erodian?
Jay, does Nunez have a future? Is the Pope Muslim? No, he definitely is a Muslim. Drifty loves all our players. It's a good mentality. R. Thompson says, I'm with Drift on this one. After the Brentford brace, he kept getting benched for Jota with half-function lung, and you could tell it affected him.
100%.
Mo says, Nunez 25 goals in 95 Premier League games. That's from a 44 XG. SG says, now we're stuck with Jota and Nunez for next season. Shake my head.
You know, we just won the league with these two, by the way. Anyway, keep going, Carl.
Bastion of Invincibility, appreciate the super chat. Also goes on to say, Drift, Premier League don't suit him. He would do well back in Spain or Portugal. Hence, these clubs will pay more. Look at what happened with Anthony.
I actually 100% agree with that. I've even said this before. You lot know, I actually 100% agree with that.
Spain.
Big up to Omar BYT. Guys, subscribe to the channel. Big up the Kopish family. Big up yourself, Omar. Hope you're well, brother.
Omar, man.
Is Omar a Barcelona fan?
Yeah, very good channel as well.
Big up.
John says this Chick-fil-A hype is getting out of hand, man. Says Drift, in your play ratings, you often say without his GA, what did Salah do? But when it comes to Nunez, you love GA. Which one is it?
I think everybody says that about Salah, and I'm just adding the stats to a balanced argument where people go, he's trash, he's trash, he's trash. I'm like, okay, well, let's bring stats into it to just show that he hasn't always been trash. It's 50-50 with stats. It's always been 50-50. It's never more, it's never less. It's 50-50.
20 times LFC. Drift, you're missing 2 points. Club wants goals spread out, considering Salah for his age. Hence, Nunez won't bury the chances 10 out of 10. And the club wanted to cut losses early, unlike the Cater situation.
I agree with the last part. The first part is completely false. He doesn't miss 10 out of 10 chances. That's such an exaggeration. It's unbelievable. But
I don't think he said he misses 10 out of 10. I think he says he doesn't score 10 out of 10.
He said he'll miss the chances 10 out of 10. So he's basically saying 10, like 10, I mean, surely there's no other way to interpret that. But anyway.
Jay says Everton Lukaku, not Chelsea. I don't want any version of Lukaku at Liverpool. I'm just being real with you, Jay. Big up though.
No, Everton Lukaku was good, bro.
For
you
them,
don't rate Everton Lukaku?
He was just good. He's a flat track.
Nah, Everton Lukaku was a good player.
Everton Lukaku and Inter Milan Lukaku were absolute great strikers. I just think Chelsea and Man United is where he was trash.
Big up to AG for the super chat.
Big up AG.
Big up D and J says, can you drop the beat for my 22nd birthday on Wednesday? We can absolutely do that. Big up yourself, D and J. Happy birthday. This is for you, bro.
Happy birthday, man.
Big up, big up, big up. Right, let's move on to the next topic, guys. This could be the most pivotal. In fact, Matt, what was the word you used earlier when we spoke? About
decisive week, I think.
Yes, this could be the most decisive week in the Wirtz situation. Now, Liverpool have had 2 bids rejected. I spoke about this on the morning show and said I'm not a fan of the fact that we've revealed that we've had 2 bids rejected, because
no, it's 3.
We've had 3, even worse, because that to me suggests that the club are going, well, look, we've made an effort, but we're also not going to be held over a barrel. Drift, I'm coming to you first. Is there a point where Liverpool could get to where they say, look, we have to walk away from this deal because it is going way too far and Leverkusen are starting to pull our pants down a little bit?
Big up Hassan for the raid, by the way. Big up Hassan.
Big up Hassan.
You said it, my broski. Bless up Hassan.
Yeah. And so can I answer it in 2 ways?
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of what we're used to at Liverpool, yes, Cal, 100% Liverpool could be like, we tried, this is too much. And I don't even think at the amount we've offered so far, you could even be angry at the club, if I'm being honest. Like, we take our emotions out of it and our want for Wirtz. 130 million is an astronomical amount. And we can't even be angry if the club are like, look, we tried. Because that is a stupid amount of money we've just offered them.
They want 126, but it's still, I hear it.
Do you get what I mean? Like, no, but what I'm saying is, it's a stupid amount of money.
150 million euros is a lot of money.
In this scenario, I don't actually think anybody could ever turn around and go, the club didn't try or whatever. Like 130 million euros is a lot of money. So in the normal way of looking at things, yeah, I would be a little bit worried that we would walk away. Like, I would be. But it's a new day, it's a new dawn, it's a new life for us. Being champions feels good. And I think the club are moving in a new direction ever so slightly. Baby steps, right? You can't just 100% just all of a sudden just flip the coin and go totally the other way, but you can start somewhere. And I think that this summer is the start of all right, maybe if it takes a little bit more than normal, let's do it if that's the player that we want. So I think in this scenario, they're like, Wirtz is the one we want. Wirtz is the future. It will get done eventually. Let's just keep bargaining and see if we can get 5 mil off. That's Liverpool in it. They want 150. We've offered 130. If we end up paying 140, Liverpool still feel like a win because we got it for 10 mil less than they wanted. Like, it will get done. I'm not worried about this getting done. I'm not. It will get done. And especially the fact that Wirtz wants to deal, because what Leverkusen can't do, Leverkusen can't piss Wirtz off to the point where he's unhappy with them, because then it becomes a real issue. Because at the moment, he's playing nice, right? They can't price us out to the point where he's like, nah, fuck you lot, man. What are you lot doing to me? You lot said I can go, and now you're taking the piss. You said only Bayern Munich had to pay that much, and now you're making anyone pay that much. So you've lied, and then it'll start getting a point where they'll fall out with Wirtz, and they don't want that bad relationship with Wirtz. So it'll get done. It'll get done. I ain't got to worry about that. We ain't got to worry about that. It'll get done. It's just taking longer than what we wanted it to because we got PTSD.
Matt, before we went live, you said something, and I knew it was going to come up in conversation, whether now or whether we sign him, especially with someone like Shirky going to Man City for 35 million. I think the price is. The pressure that comes with a deal like this. We saw it with Caicedo in his first season. People were calling him a bum. People were saying Endo is better than Caicedo, for example. We've seen it with Declan Rice, £105 million for sideways passing, this, that, and the other. You said Florian has to hit the ground running. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I think the general consensus is, do you think he can handle the pressure? And do you think Liverpool as a club can handle that pressure?
He'll handle the pressure, bro. This guy, if we do get him, which I think we will get him, but if we don't get him this week, I'll be real, even I'm a bit worried. But I think the deal's very, very... I don't want to sound like all the other journalists, but it's very close. They want 150 million euros. Apparently, our new offer that we're going to be our final rent offer will be 140, should get the deal done. So let's say it gets done and Wirtz is a Liverpool player. Bro, there'll be a lot of pressure on Florian Wirtz. 140 million euro player, bro. You ain't got time. We ain't got time for you to just like find your feet in the Prem. You have to hit the ground running in it. But this is what happens when you get a price tag like that. But you want to know something? I'm not worried.
Does he have to hit the ground running though?
He kind of does. I'm not trying to say he has to have some Ballon d'Or season. Don't get it twisted. But he's got to have a good season. You can't. This is one thing we can't.
What's a good season, man?
I was just going to ask that, dude. What is a good season?
How can we go and get a player for 140 mil, and then he's getting like, I'll give an example, 5 goals and 6 assists?
So what's a good season?
What's a good season, bro?
In my opinion,
because again, remember, we're not buying him for 1 season. We're buying him for 5 years, effectively.
Yeah. So let's just say his first season. I'm expecting straight away, if you're the number 10 goals, 10 assists, double. I'm expecting that straight away. Is
that just in the Prem or overall competition?
That's just in the Prem.
Wow.
Is that really enough though, bro? Because Soboslai just got 6 and 7, and people saying he's not good enough, and he's only half the price of Wirtz. So is that really a good enough season?
Well, this is his first season, and I'm gonna admit this is the Prem. I'm not. This ain't no competitions. This is just the Prem. This is what I expect for you just from the Prem alone.
I think that's what Soboslai. I think he got 6 goals and 7 assists in the Prem this season.
What, in his first season in the Prem?
No, the season just gone. Soboslai, I'm saying that's the stats.
But that's different. That's Soboslai. Say, this is Florian Wirtz walking to Liverpool first season. I'm expecting 10 and 10 in the Prem at least. So here's what I'm saying. One thing we can't do.
I think that's a lot to ask for, you know, Matt.
Shall I tell you why it's not? Here's what I'm saying. We're saying what I'm saying. I'm saying it right now. Florian Wirtz is the best number 10 in the world. He's the best. If you're the best, we can't then go, all he's got to do is just settle in and give us 5 goals and 7 assists, or 6 and 7, like what you've said. No, if you're the best, I need more than that. You're the best in the world, bro. We're buying you for a reason. Even if hear what I'm saying, even if I don't even think he's the best, he's one of the best. If you are one of the best, I need to see the performances, the numbers to go along with that. But you want to know something? When it comes to Florian Wirtz, I'm not worried. I'm actually not worried. So me even putting a number on what I'm expecting, I'm not concerned. This guy's a bad boy, you know. He's a transformative signing. You see, we didn't do that with Virgil van Dijk. We didn't do that with Alisson. I know it's very different because one's a defender, one's a goalkeeper. How can you do that, right? But we expected a lot from them with them price tags. We expect that from anybody with a high price tag. That comes with expectation. But in my opinion, Florian Wirtz will hit that expectation because he's that good, bro.
I'm glad you're keeping the same energy, Matt, because I actually agree with you. So I'm glad you're keeping the same energy. But I'm telling you now, so many people aren't going to keep that energy because they love Wirtz. He'll get way more time, way more love. But like trust me, bro. There's people who are not going to.
If he has a bad first season, I will sit here and go.
Nobody will care because they love him.
What's this?
How many players have come in and had a bad season and actually still got love?
I mean, it would depend what you consider a bad season.
Do you know what? I'll be real. You see this fan base, yeah? If I'm being honest, even if someone has a bad first season, we still kind of like we don't just
saying,
crash
like,
out. We
we
don't
don't
crash
crash
out on
out.
them.
We're not as a
Not
fan
on their
base,
first
we don't.
season. With no one crashed out on Nunez. Everyone was like, wait till second season.
They
No
did.
one,
They
They
did.
didn't, Drew. They really
After
didn't.
the first season, people said Nunez wasn't good
bro,
enough.
they didn't. Even Soboslai
Some
again.
people
They
said
did.
that the
Even the
majority
first
were
season,
saying
remember
Nunez
this-
Soboslai, people said wasn't good enough after the first season. These are
Drift,
facts,
you were-
guys. Nunez and Soboslai definitely got
But
told
Drift,
they
you was
weren't good
crashing it
enough
out on
after the
Soboslai the
first season.
most. You was
I'm
crashing out
I'm
Soboslai
not
the
saying
most.
I wasn't.
No,
He was
but Drift,
terrible.
you're using the minority as the perimeter for the whole fan base. The majority,
I don't think it was a minority.
People
I think
always
it was
keep
a
saying
50-50
second
split.
season,
the
second
majority,
season.
the majority of fans were saying Nunez gets second season. They were comparing him to Suarez, saying Suarez
No,
didn't have a great
the
season.
match going fans were. Online fans all said he's not good enough. The match going fans were still supporting Nunez. Online
I'll be
fans
real,
were saying he
Drift.
wasn't
I
good
think that
enough.
was more 50-50 because I saw a lot of people trying to young
I
people
know I
trying to
said it's 50-50. I
people
said
trying
it
to
was
People
50-50
people
in
trying
our
to act
fan
like
base.
they work in the Liverpool what's
It
it
was
called it
50-50
the
in our fan base.
data research team. They're trying to look at the stats and say, listen, this is the same stuff that Suarez got. He's gonna bag in the second year. And don't get me wrong, he had a way better second year. So this is what I'm saying. No matter what someone does in their first year,
Sobo.
bruv,
A
no
small
matter what someone
minority of
does in their
people said
first
they
year,
wanted
they
him gone.
always get grace. Always.
I think Soboslai was getting an overwhelming amount of hate. I was one of the people. I'm not gonna front.
He wasn't.
After
weren't
his
getting
first
better.
season, there was an overwhelming amount of people saying Soboslai's not good enough.
No,
An
they were just saying,
overwhelming
no, they
amount of
weren't, bro.
people.
Some people were
You
just
lot are
saying this.
doing like revisionism and forgetting what it
Bruv,
was like. in
Can I
the
tell you
summer.
what it
Not
was?
to.
People were saying the second half of his season, he kind of tailed off. Remember, the first half of the season, everyone was like, Soboslai was playing well. It was the second half of the season, everyone's like, man, he just fell off, man.
You know, there's a
Soboslai-
difference between a few people
Soboslai
saying
was
and the
not.
majority. The majority of fans were saying
Yeah.
Sobo didn't have a great season, but we give him the second season.
No, I
The
said an
majority of fans-
overwhelming amount of people, not the majority, an overwhelming amount of people weren't rating Soboslai after his first season. It was a lot. It weren't just a few
You said
people. It was a
50-50.
lot.
What's over?
No, Nunez was 50-50. Nunez was 50-50 in or out after his first season. Soboslai wasn't quite 50-50, but it was an overwhelming amount of people that were like, he ain't good enough. There was. You lot are just forgetting what happened because we've had a
No.
good year.
You do
He was getting a lot of slack.
overwhelming
after the
means
first
majority, bro.
season. No, overwhelming is just like a shock. Like, whoa, how come so many people don't rate him? I think you lot are forgetting how many people was against
No,
Soboslai. There's
I'm
people who
not.
still don't rate Soboslai now.
Yeah, but there's a difference with people saying they don't necessarily rate him and people saying they wanted him gone. There's a big difference.
Well, if you say he's not good enough, it's pretty much similar.
No,
You might not have used the word "I don't want him here" or get rid of him, but if you say he's not good enough, that's pretty much what you're getting at.
Or you could just be saying you want an upgrade on him and you want him to be the squad player, Drift.
I mean, if that's the case, then say it, because if I sit here and I say he ain't good enough to play for Liverpool, I know what I mean.
All right.
And the
I'm
Yeah,
gonna,
like
majority of the time,
if I
think
turn
that
around
is
and say
what
someone's
people
not good
mean.
enough to be a starter, I know what I mean. So
I'm
it's,
gonna
Yeah, no,
take
but
a
if people said starter, that's fine. But people said he ain't good enough to be a Liverpool player.
No, Joe, it is. I'm going to take a chance here. I'm going to say the majority of the fan base, obviously people in the chat as well, they don't think he's a number 10. They think Soboslai's a good player. They don't think he's a 10. And when you need to be a 10, you need to have a specific skill set. That's what people will really annoyed about, because a lot of people were saying he's not a 10, he's an 8. He's a box-to-box kind of midfielder. He's not a number 10, though. For me, that's the general consensus about Soboslai. A lot of people are saying we can upgrade on a number 10 spot. That's what people kept on saying. Hence why the conversations from last year was all about, what number 10 could we get and move Soboslai, because he's not
But
a
he
number
didn't
10
play
naturally.
10 in
That's
his
what
first season.
people were saying. In my
No, but
opinion.
Matt, that's what I'm saying. I think people are forgetting what happened and when it happened. That was halfway through the season, maybe, when people started to do the like number 10 thing, bro. Because remember, he didn't play number 10 last year. So he wasn't being judged on
No, but no
10.
one
He was
crashed
just
out.
being judged on being a Liverpool midfielder.
You see Soboslai.
Because he never played 10 for us.
I remember I was defending Soboslai because I remember saying, his season was decent, but he did fall off in the second part of the season. A lot of people say, no, he was crap, he was rubbish. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Also, I say some people were, but I wouldn't say it was like overwhelming. I don't remember people saying, we got to sell him, he ain't good enough for Liverpool. I mean, I didn't see that personally.
There was a lot of people saying he wasn't good enough to play for Liverpool.
I didn't see that.
And it wasn't based on him being a number 10, bro, because he didn't play 10 for us in his first season. He played 8.
No,
People
I'm
were
talking
just
about
judging him
last.
as
I'm talking about season that's gone. The season in his first season, yeah.
Yeah.
People were saying he was good in the first half of the season. In the second half, he fell off. That's what they were saying.
He was good till November.
No,
October. He was good till October.
Yeah.
No, I just think that's
And then
when
from October to the end of the season, he was actually trash. Like he was actually trash.
I wouldn't.
He's
say
turned
trash.
it around, and I've put my
I would
hands
just
up
say
and
he's
said,
very average.
Szoboszlai is a very important player
But
to
it's
the team now.
expectation that goes with
But
it.
he was Matt. We have to be honest. From October to the end of the season in his first year, for whatever the reason may be, he was trash. He was actually trash. He didn't contribute anything really. He didn't, bro. We have to just be honest. Last season, he was one of the pivotal players. He turned it around. 100% he turned it around.
But again, that's your opinion.
That's the reality, though.
That's your opinion. I've just got a different opinion to you, though. My opinion is different.
No, but I'm saying I
don't think he was trash. I just think his form dropped off, and like he wasn't the same player. Remember, in them first how many months, yeah, he was arguably easily one of our best players. I just wouldn't go so far and say he was trash, though. I just think he became not one of our better players, and that
you're remembering that part because it was fun.
He didn't stand out. He was standing out. That's what it was.
It was really good how well he played in the first couple of weeks. So it stood out a lot, especially when we went down to 10 men a few times and he was brilliant with his work rate and stuff. He was good in that first couple months.
But again,
bro,
see, this is where
after October, he didn't do anything.
To say someone is trash, to use that word trash, this is what I mean, though. Like, because there's other players, bro, that like, I don't know.
I'm just using the same words other people say.
But then when other people use it for other players, apparently there's a bias towards it. This is what I'm trying to say. Like,
well, it depends. It depends which way it goes.
You're kind of moving the goalpost, Drew.
In what way?
Because you, for example, when you just said he was trash, if I say Nunez was trash, you'd say like you'd kind of have an argument for that. But
yeah, but my argument would be backed up with some kind of fact. It would be like some winning goals or some statistical analysis or something. But Szoboszlai, statistically and on the eye test, for the majority of the season, wasn't good. Like you can't even bring me a stat to back up what Szoboszlai was doing.
Nunez trash last season just gone then?
Who?
Was Nunez trash the season just gone then?
Kind of. But I mean, if you add the context, it was he wasn't being played. If he did well, it didn't matter. He was back on the bench. But like Szoboszlai was playing every week, and Szoboszlai for the second half of the season, statistically and on the eye test, was absolutely terrible.
It was
terrible in his first.
If we're going to use context, though, you could say it was Sobbo's first season in England, and he was. Let's be honest, he was mismanaged by Klopp.
I don't think he was mismanaged, but I definitely gave him grace. It was his first season.
He was mismanaged both in playing style and when he was rushed back from injury as well. I think everyone forgets Sobbo had quite a bad injury.
But how can he be mismanaged if he was been playing the same way he played? Like his role never changed.
It did change from Leipzig to Liverpool.
No, from the beginning of the season to the end of the season, he was being used in the same way. He didn't change how we were using him.
He had more of a free role in the first few months, and then when he came back from injury, he was more.
No, that's not true, bro. He was the one doing all the dog work. He didn't have a free role. That was why we were rating him so much, because it was like we're down to 10 men, but with his work rate, it didn't feel like it.
No,
he wasn't.
No, obviously, if you're down to 10 men, that free role goes. You'll remember he was popping up in positions and scoring worldies in those first.
He was clapping long ranges. When we really deep, he was working hard and clapping long ranges. He worked hard all the time, but the long ranges are making it look good.
Because his role changed. Again, I'm not sitting there saying that he was excellent in the first season. Far from it. I'm actually agreeing with you. In the first few months, he was very good, and then after that, he was poor. But last season, I'd say he was very good. But in the first season, yeah, on the whole, it wasn't great. But I'm just saying, why is it when we say that about him, there's no talks of an agenda or anything, but when it's about Darwin, there is. Like,
Nunez is an agenda because even when he does well, nobody gives him credit. If Szoboszlai does well, then I do think people give him credit. But when Nunez does well, people don't give him credit. That's why it's an agenda. If he does well, people go, so what? He's still crap. It's like, right, you can't even just lay off him for one game. It's like, that's an agenda.
So when he scored the brace against Brentford, as a fan base,
I remember, you can even go back and watch it. Everyone was like, who cares? He's still trash. I literally remember.
Everyone said that.
100%. But the majority of the people who hate him was saying this. I remember having to argue with people. Right, you can't have one day off.
I just think they're fed up with him. There's a difference.
So I forget it. Everything I
All right,
say about Nunez is wrong.
right.
It's fine.
What
I can't
if this Wirtz deal don't go over the line? Are there any alternatives for us? And if so, who?
No, there isn't no alternatives.
Yeah, there is an
Apparently,
alternative. It just won't be a number 10.
no, there won't be an alternative. If there was a direct, direct alternative would have been Shirky. Apparently, Ornstein did break the story that we spoke to Shirky, but we went ahead and pursued the deal for Florian Wirtz. I don't see us getting another number 10. Here's the thing, Wirtz is a transformative signing. Before the season was ending, I don't know whether he was on the radar or not. I don't know, but we got notified about his availability. You have to try and get that deal over the line. I don't think Liverpool purposely looked for a number 10, in my opinion. I think it was more striker. But when they saw Florian Wirtz is available, they're like, what, Florian Wirtz from Leverkusen? All right, let's move. So our plans changed. And I'm so glad our plans did change because he's one of the best players in the world. In terms of direct replacement, no. I don't even think we even tried for
No, but
number 10.
that's why I said, bro, there is replacements. It would just be there is alternatives. It's just in a different position.
But do you feel who are the players though? Oh, in different position.
Well, if you go on the premise that we've now got that much money, then I think you can go and start talking to the Alvarez's of this world. If you've got 130, 140, I think you can. I think the alternative is you just go and buy a number 9 now who's outrageous.
But these
bro, there's
players,
no way Atletico say no to 130 M's. I'm telling you now.
They signed him for 90. I hear what I'm saying. They signed him for about 90 million euros or whatever it is. I can't remember now.
Yeah, 90 million euros. Yeah.
He left England, or I believe there was rumors of him wanting to leave England anyway, along with his wife. He settled in Spain, but Liverpool are now going to bring him back to the Prem because he put in a mega bid. I think that the Alvarez thing is more us fans just wanting to get Alvarez. But me personally, as much as I want to believe, I just
but
don't
see. You said this about Wirtz 3 months ago.
That's true. That's true. But again, it's about timing with transfers. It's all about timing. Unless
I don't think Newcastle say no to 130 for Isak, bro.
But you see, Wirtz though, Wirtz situation is actually different though, because Florian Wirtz has 2 years left on his contract, and Bayern were already trying to get that deal over the line by applying pressure to Leverkusen by saying, "Oh, we're gonna sign him. He's already agreed." Rare tear. Alvarez is in his first year in Spain. I don't know or have seen anything creditable that makes me think, all right, do you know what? We've got even a slight outside chance. I actually think we've got more chance of getting Isak than we do actually Alvarez, bro.
But I don't think Newcastle say no to 130 for Isak, bro. I don't. I genuinely don't.
But it's just whether Liverpool. Again, it's more
you
about
buy a DM, bro. Go and pay 100 mil for an absolute top quality DM. It just the position just changed. We spend the money in. That's what happens if we don't get Wirtz. You then go and buy a DM who's exceptional, or you buy a striker or a left winger. All
right,
you buy a different position that's exceptional. That's what you do.
Sometimes the things change though. For example, when we missed out on Caicedo and Lavia, we just went and bought a ton of midfielders, for obviously good fees, right? If you miss out on Wirtz, I don't know the plan. You might be right. It could be Liverpool spend that money on somebody else, but now you revealed your hand in terms of how much you're willing to pay.
Remember when we tried to get Fekir?
Yeah,
that was a major part of the rebuild, right?
Yeah,
you could tell that was a major part of the rebuild, and we didn't get it over the line. We bought Alisson instead. We still spent big money because it was like, all right, now we'll go and buy another superstar player. We didn't get this one. We'll go spend the money somewhere else. I just think we'll do that. I just think it'll be a winger or a striker or a DM, or even a centre back. It'll be somewhere in the team that'll be another big boy, bad boy signing, and it will, you know what I mean? And we'll use the money we were going to use for Wirtz to go and do that.
But Joe, it is though. I feel like, let's say, all right, say the worst thing happens if we don't get Wirtz. I just feel like even if we were going to get Wirtz, I still think we're going to get other players. Even if we don't get Wirtz, we're still going to get other players. So that's why I don't think nothing really, it doesn't really change, but it could change because now it means maybe we've got more money for the striker. So maybe, I'm just giving you an example. Maybe right now we can only afford 60, 70 for the striker. But if you don't get Florian Wirtz now, you can use that money to maybe try and prize away an Alvarez, who I think is maybe unattainable, or an Isak, who I think is also unattainable. But it's about trying to force the hand of the team that you're trying to get the player from. If you've got that money that they think that you're willing to pay, then we may have a chance. But
you know the rumors are that we're giving them 100 mil up front, and then the 30 mil is what we're like negotiating in terms of like how we pay that in add-ons and stuff. Like that's what the rumor is. So if you believe that's what the rumor is, I think that exact same offer gets you Isak. I think if you offer Newcastle 100 mil straight and then like 10 or 15 mil in add-ons, I think they take it. I know they don't want to lose him, but I think they take that 100 mil up front and then that 15, 20 mil in add-ons. I think Newcastle say yes immediately, because that 100 mil up front they can use straight away for their PSR. So I actually think that would get him. I do.
Can I ask you a question, guys? Is signing Florian Wirtz almost hindering him a little bit if we don't sign a striker? Because I think we've all gathered from this that none of us, and I think Slot as well, none of us are really high on any of our strikers. If he's coming in to be a creative just outlet and just this monster of a creative player, do we not need to go and get a striker? And if we don't get a striker, do we have to change our expectations for Florian Wirtz as well a little bit?
Yeah, potentially, because he plays. Obviously, there's two strikers at Leverkusen.
Schick and Boniface, right?
Yeah, Patrick Schick and Boniface. So, and he works very well with them type of strikers. Liverpool need at least a striker that's pretty good. Jota could be that person, but we don't know if Jota can stay available. That's like, let's be real, we don't know what's going on with Jota, right? Jota even looked a little bit funky during the Nations League, right? Darwin Nunez, we don't know what's going on with him. Future's up in the air. And if we're being real, spoiler alert, I know we'll speak about it later, we don't know what's going on with Diaz either. Liverpool kind of need to get a striker, in my opinion. We need someone who we can rely on. And if you don't get that striker that we can rely on full stop for next season, it will be a very different season, in my opinion, to the season we just had. I know Drift said we won the league, and rightly so. We won it without a striker. But we have to do a lot of rotation. There was a lot of coping to get that over the line. And not only that, it was the brilliance of Mohamed.
I don't think so.
No, but let me land. It was the brilliance of Mohamed Salah. Let's keep it a buck. Salah doing what Salah was doing, we can't do. Yeah. We can't expect Salah to do that again. He might be able to do it, but it's like we don't know whether we can do that again. Them type of numbers, because we won that. Here's the thing. Let's say Jota was on his A game, and Salah's still doing what he's doing. Oh my days! Like, do you know what I mean? That's dreamland. But unfortunately,
I think a striker takes us to another level. I agree with that. Like if we was to get an Isak or an Alvarez, 100%, I think it takes us to another level. But I disagree slightly, Matt, as in we've got such good goal-scoring wingers. I don't think it affects Wirtz if we don't have a gunman, because those inside runs from Diaz, Gakpo and Salah, he's still got so much to work with. Like I don't think it hampers him if we don't have
again, spoiler alert, if I give him too much away to the show, there's that one of the players you named might not even be here.
No, but let's go on the premise that they are, because
let's go on the premise that they are. Let's go on the premise that they are.
I still don't think we've got enough evidence to sit here and call Gakpo or Diaz great goal scoring wingers, though.
Of course,
maybe not great, but they're good. But they're good. I say
they've both got double figures, bro.
Diaz,
if I'm not mistaken, they got 15 goals the season before last, and this season they got 19.
He has played centrally a lot this season.
No, but he only scored 6 of his goals from central, though, Cal. So, like, he's still got a large amount of his goals from wide.
Didn't he get like 13 goals in total or something like that?
You got 13 in the Prem.
I mean, all comps, it was like 19 or something. Remember, I'm not only just talking about the Prem, because we want to win the Champions League. We want to win more, right? So I'm in general, I'm talking about in all competitions, they both got 26 GA, right? And I think it was 19 goals, 7 assists or something like that.
Something like that.
So I'm still saying between the two of them, it's more than 20 goals from left. And Salah was obviously more than 20 goals from the right.
Yeah.
So if you've got 3 sets of wide players who are goal getters, I don't think Wirtz struggles. He just creates for the wider players.
No, but Drift, no. I agree with you. But the problem is, let's go on the premise that everyone stays that you just mentioned. I think Diaz and Gakpo will still do exactly what they've done, just gone, right? It's Salah. The expectation for Salah to do that again, because I'm just gonna say in my mind, I'm not going to expect to do the same thing. He might have, there's a little drop off. That little drop off could mean that we might be in a title race rather than clearing everybody. So that's where the striker comes in, and that's where you need the striker to kind of help Salah. Because again, I'm not saying Salah can't do it, bruv. For all I know, I could be so wrong. Salah could do a mad thing again, and I'm sitting there going, flipping out. This guy's like, he's already an alien.
But what if? And again, I'm trying to be positive rather than negative, right? I'm not ever saying you're being negative. I'm just saying I'm trying to be positive. What if we get Jota back to something like what he is good at? He had a bad year. I'm not going to completely just act like he's dead through now. I do think it's a worry, but I'm not going to just be like, oh, he's dead through, he'll never be good again. What if you remotely get Jota back to even something like his best and he still contributes 10 goals? And then what if Wirtz himself picks up that slack that Szoboszlai wasn't doing, which was actually contributing quite good with the goals? So what if Salah drops off by 10 goals, but now Florian gets 15? So Florian's just making up for what Salah... Do you get what I mean? So, like, I still don't think... Florian's going to score goals. Like, I truly believe Florian will score goals. Do you get what I mean? So
I'm being positive, but
Salah's
I'm just trying to...
as well, though.
Yes, I'm just trying to be I'm just trying to be realistic, though. For us to expect Salah to do exactly what he was doing this season gone is a bit of a hard task to kind of replicate that. So let's just say in our minds, all right, we're going to expect just an ever so slight drop off, but drop off might not be crazy, but you could see the drop off, right? Now, like you said, Wirtz is coming in and he's getting goals as well. You still need that striker to get you goals, like Carl just mentioned, AFCON as well, whatever. Now, this is on the premise that Jota can stay fit. This is where you gamble. Now, do you want to make a gamble or not? And this is where, when you make them gambles, it's that whole thing of that can cost you the league or even the Champions League. And this is where it gets techie with our forward line. It's so crazy that we've won the league, but we're sitting there going, could you replicate that exact same thing next year? I don't think you can personally. The reason I'm saying that is, again, spoiler alert, Carl. I know Carl's going to hate me for this. Don't know what's going on with Salah can replicate that same season again. And we don't know whether Jota is going to be back to normal or even just remotely back. Those are the question marks that we have over our forward line.
Well, do you know what? Now we're here, Matt, and you've mentioned it. Let's move on to Diaz.
Yeah, sorry, I did spoil it. My bad.
No, not at all. So there's apparently a deal or a proposal of a deal coming in from Al Nassr imminently for around 85 million euros, I believe. But apparently his heart is only set on Barcelona if he leaves Liverpool. Now, I think that's a very important thing. It's not he's pushing for a move to Barcelona, but if Liverpool are looking to sell him or Barcelona come with a deal or a fee that Liverpool seem to be acceptable, he'd be happy to go there. But we also know Barcelona's money situation isn't the greatest. Do you think Barcelona put up the sort of money Liverpool would be looking for to recoup for Diaz?
I don't think they can afford it, bro. If the reports are true that we won £80 million, not euros, which I think is good because I think he's a great player, so I think we should capitalize. I don't think Barcelona can afford that.
If Saudi come in with that bid, do you think we accept?
Yeah. But I think he said no. He doesn't want to go Saudi. And I don't blame him. He's 28 and he's at the peak of his powers at the moment. Why would he go Saudi?
But get paid very well.
No, I know, but I think if he goes Barcelona, he gets a good, probably about maybe 150, 200 grand a week if he goes Barca. So
if he goes Saudi, he could be looking at 400, 500k tax free.
No, I know, but I think he's still at that point where he is thinking about his career more so than just the money. Because what a lot of people forget is even, and I don't mean this with any disrespect to Saudi, but Saudi are in a position where they're going to still take these players even when they're 30 plus. We got to be honest, they will, because it's still a big player for their league, right? Mahrez went there at 31. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no disrespect. Fabinho wasn't even...
Fabinho.
He fell off
all the players that are way past their best, they've still paid money for them.
We say that.
So at 28, we say that, Diaz has only got to wait. Diaz could have 2 or 3 years at his dream club, Barcelona, be 31, still go get the bag at Saudi. Do you get what I mean? Like I don't think he has to worry about that.
We say that though, they are actually starting to target more 20-odd-year-olds. This, like we saw Moussa Diaby move last summer. Sesko's being touted. Gyökeres they've approached.
There you are.
Nunez,
Saudi. Remember they got
Nunez.
that Celta Vigo midfielder, that Viega that was supposed to go.
Yeah, like so.
But I
don't
still
know.
think they'll take the star boys, though, Cal. Do you get what I mean? And Diaz, if he goes Barca, who'll be one of the star boys? Do you get what I'm saying? So I still think they'll take him at 30
Duran's
years
another
old.
one.
Duran, look at Duran. Duran,
Bro, was it Duran 21 in it?
Yeah,
21.
no, I get it. They do want to get some young
They
players.
might actually
in,
be
but
moving
they'll
away
still
from
take
the model
star
of getting
players.
30-plus-year-olds. They might actually move away from that model of getting 30-plus-year-olds and only reserve it for certain players. Diaz might not fall into that category.
He might not, but again, I don't think he'd be bothered if he's at Barcelona, though. If he's at his dream club, I don't think he'd be angry if he don't get his.
I
league.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I think Diaz really wants to go Barca. I think it's well documented. There's a reason why they approached us. I think it was last week. We rebuffed it and said he's not for sale. Well, in our words, we basically said he's not for sale, but if you want to pay his actual asking price, then we can do a deal. Barcelona haven't responded. And that's just because we kind of knew that they're going to come with some stupid offer, bro. And this is the problem we got. Here's the problem we got with Diaz, right? The club came out, or club PR was, he's not for sale, but then all the reports from all the top journalists are saying, but Liverpool are not going to offer him a new deal. So you got to read between the lines. He is for sale, but you're going to have to pay what we think he is worth. If not, he will be here next year. The problem that we have is we're hoping someone, I hate to say it, takes the bait, even though I want Diaz to stay. Liverpool are doing that because they kind of want to sell him, because they don't want him going into the last year. If he goes into the last year of his deal, you know what's going to happen. He will get pissed off. He's already spoken about how he said it in a nice way. He was like, I don't know what's going on. I'm speaking to other clubs. It's only normal. Well, broski, you shouldn't even really be saying that. But when they go home and speak, you know, that's how everyone speaks. They just speak very openly. He basically just said, listen, we're speaking to other clubs. I will be happy to stay. If Liverpool renew my contract, I'm happy. But if there's other options or whatever, we'll see what happens. So even Diaz is aware of his own situation. It's one of them ones where Liverpool basically saying you have to pay the money. So Barca, if you want him, it's got to be about 70 million. None of this 40 million euro foolishness because you can't register players and you got issues. We ain't got time for that. I don't know how many levers you got to activate. Bro, I don't even care if you got to sell like some speakers, some Spotify speakers for you, man, to get more money. Do what you got to do and pay the money. But we're not selling Diaz on the cheap. And that's how it should be. We ain't selling him on the cheap.
I think it's a little bit different, Matt. I think because he's only on 55 grand a week, I think Liverpool are happy to let him go for free because we're paying nothing in wages. If he was on more wages, I think we'd either renew his contract or we would make sure that we sold him. Liverpool are assessing this and just thinking, if he goes for free, we only paid 40 mil for him, and then we've only paid him 50 grand a week.
You know what?
Who cares if he goes for free?
And
so
you know
I think the club are willing to let him leave at 30 for free and just get such a quality player for barely no wages. And that's what I think, bro.
And I feel bad for Diaz. Imagine signing for Liverpool. Signing for Liverpool. And again, it's your first contract at Liverpool. And not once has your contract been renewed. You've done very, very well. You had a big injury as well. You've overcome your injury. You've had you've had arguably your best club season in Europe. A man is sitting there going, just flog him. He, for me, one of them players where we should be giving an extension to. And I know this is maybe there was some contradiction even for myself earlier, but there's a reason why Barca want him. Diaz is a good player, even though he may be at the ceiling for some people, and this is what you're gonna get. Unless, don't get me wrong, there were players in my opinion that are better, but if they're not available, we shouldn't be actively looking to sell him, and that's my issue. The left wing situation between him and Gakpo is good enough. Unless you're going to get me, I know Jiffy agreed this, but unless you're going to get me Rodrigo, or you had a chance to get Cravar. I'm not buying all this Malik Fofana stuff. I think he's good, but he's not better. He could be better, but not right now. I'm talking about right now. Nico Williams, another player who I think has potential, but not right now. Diaz is right now, innit? And he might even have a better season next year, for all I know. He could have a better season than what he just had.
If Diaz played for someone else, Matt, Liverpool fans would think he's a good player. It's just funny how life works. Like I'm telling you, if Diaz played for someone else, people would think he's a good player.
Again, I don't think the majority of Liverpool fans think he's rubbish, though. I think they think he can be upgraded on. I don't think he's rubbish. No one does. I don't speak to
No,
anyone who thinks
there was
goes,
frustration, I think, with the
Yeah,
fans, but
Diaz
I
is
think he's
rubbish.
turned around. Even myself, because I have to
he
admit this.
definitely gets criticised a lot in our fan base.
No,
his
he
first couple
does.
seasons.
But again, when you say things like the majority and stuff, it's not the majority. The majority actually
I didn't
rate.
say majority with Diaz. I just said he gets a lot of criticism.
Yeah, but he gets a lot of praise as well. But the
I
notion
wouldn't say a lot of praise.
the notion that
He gets some praise.
the notion that he can't be upgraded on, I think is a discussion. I think he can be upgraded on.
He
It's
can.
No, but
whether-
Cal, can't everybody be upgraded on apart from the Messis and the Salahs of this world? Like, we're being honest, like that. Everybody can be upgraded on. Do you know what I mean? Like,
No,
but what
apart
Cal
from
means is
Alisson, Van Dijk and Salah, who can't be upgraded?
no,
on?
but what Cal means is when Cravel was available, and like, see, for me, I know we won't go into it, but when Cravel was available, we said Craver is an upgrade on Diaz. I know you disagree with that, Jeff, but we just think that he is, right? That's one player that we thought. Then you've got, in my opinion, I know you disagree with me again, Rodrigo. There's a few players out there, but it's not like there's loads and loads. But what Cal's saying is, if those players that are upgradable are available, we should have really looked at it. And the main reason is his contract, like you said. I'm so sick to death, bruv, of running players. I know we only bought him for like, how much you buying for again? Is it 40 mil or something?
40 mil, yeah, I'm sure it was 40,
Yeah,
44
like,
mil.
bro, have we really got like? I'm sick of seeing the same story. You know, we just run the player, he signs one contract, and we don't sell them. Like,
you know what?
I'm
You
not
know
saying
what,
to actively sell him, but if you get a mammoth offer for Luis Diaz, this is what one thing I will say. You get 80 million for Diaz, and you're willing to go and get someone who's better than what who he is now. You go and do that deal. But if you feel like you're not going to get better than what he is right now, then you don't do the deal, and that's when you extend his contract.
What if you get someone who's around?
Mate.
What if you get someone who's around his level but younger, who has a season
Around his level, that's young.
Yeah. Then you do it as long as
let's say we all rate Diaz an 8 out of 10, for example.
Yeah.
He's 28 now, or just about to turn 28. Could you not go and get a 22, 23-year-old who may be a 7 out of 10, but in a year's time could become an 8 out of 10 then?
Yeah, because you're banking on your potential in it. You're thinking potential.
So that's what I'm saying. Does it have to be someone who's better than him right now? Obviously, in an ideal
no,
world,
I think it does, Kai, if you want to keep winning the league, though. Because I think what you're saying is something you take a risk with when you're a Tottenham or an Arsenal, when you're trying to make that step to go and be the best. But if you're a Liverpool or a City where you're at the top of the mountain, I think it's very risky to downgrade your squad with the potential of it coming up later when it's about the now. Like, we want to retain the league, innit? We want to go win the Champions League as well now. That little drop off for that player who's not quite at the level could be the difference of you winning the league this season. Do you get what I mean? And then it's like you've tried to future-proof yourself, but you've cost yourself in the moment. So, like, do you know what I mean?
And his versatility.
Which way you look at it.
So let's say Diaz
his
is sold,
versatility
right?
is the one that's for me.
Yeah.
I'll still tell you guys straight. As a left winger, I don't think Luis Diaz is that guy. But as a centre forward or just general versatility, I would not want to sell him. I still don't want to sell Diaz, but I don't want him to be a left winger at Liverpool.
Ain't hindsight a wonderful thing, though, guys? Because when you actually deep it now, we see what PSG went on to do. The vision was always there. We just didn't see it because we're ignorant. Cravel was never going anywhere. He could see where PSG were going. It's so obvious now that we see how great it. Because remember, at the time, we were all like, what the fuck is he doing? But everyone can see the vision.
A lot of people
were being ignorant.
No, I don't think anyone was saying he's stupid for making the move.
Carl, at the time, everyone was like, PSG.
No, a lot of people were, to be fair to Jay, a lot of people were saying, PSG. Not that they're saying, they weren't saying PSG is rubbish, but they're saying, why would you pick PSG over Liverpool? That was the general
that narrative. Yeah, that narrative.
No, not even just Liverpool, man. The people saying, why would you pick PSG over all the big Premier League teams? Why would you go there over any of the big Premier League teams?
And it would have been justified if he didn't win the Champions League. Let's say he just wins League R. No one cares, innit? But because he's won the Champions League, everyone's now going, do you know, I hear it. Man, that's what you're saying. Man saw that they were equipped.
Now you're seeing what the plan was. He realized he was the last piece of the puzzle.
And I reckon Craven made that decision after they signed William Patcher. All right, back in 1 sec, guys.
Shameless as hell. Let me have these sleepers. Fonzie says, I'll just be fuming at Cal. It's his fault. That's regarding Florian. I know Fonzie. I know, bro. I'm checking over
People
my
in the
shoulder.
chat need to understand that they might not be called out, but people are paying attention, and you will be banned for rudeness. Like, I don't know why people still think it's okay to be rude, but
That wasn't until Fonzie, by the way.
no, not far. I'm talking about other people.
WeChat Football says Cal needs this deal to go through. I do. I said it earlier. Matt's hairline, crazy image again. Hey, Matt, they not like us.
Oh, yes, they are.
Lung Gil says super sticker, big up yourself. Mohammed says it's in buyers' interest. It's in buyers' interest to sell this year or lose money. Maybe.
He's got 2 years left on his contract, so I think that's what he means. Like, yeah, next summer they won't be able to get half of what they're asking for now.
Yeah. Mr. Wilson 82 says you forgot someone got injured. No, I mentioned that, bro. I mentioned that. Joe says if we don't get Wirtz, we must go all in for Morgan Rogers and put Maka in the 10 and keep Elliott. That's fair. That's fair.
Can I be honest with you, Cal? I'm 100% against Mac in the 10 now. I've removed all of that thought process. I don't think back to goal Mac works. I don't.
I think Mac could play the 10, but you'd have to completely rejig the system.
We're thinking about Mac playing the 10 from a creative point of view, which I think could be beautiful at, but we're forgetting how much back to goal you have to play as a 10. I don't think Mac would be.
I don't think we have to play as much. I don't think Kevin De Bruyne played much back to goal. Neither did Coutinho.
No, but Kevin De Bruyne was a left side or a right sided 8. He wasn't an actual 10. Do you get what I mean? Like, in the City system, he's never really actually been a central.
No, but when Pep first came in, he was a 10. I don't think you have to play back to goal as a 10, depending on your situation.
Plus, De Bruyne is good with his back to goal as well, Cal. So I don't even think that would ever be an
this
issue.
notion that a 10 plays with a back to goal a lot, I disagree with. Like, it depends on the system and the setup.
Most of the time,
Coutinho rarely played with his back to goal.
Yeah, but Coutinho played a large part of his Liverpool career off the left. That's why.
No, but even when he played 10, Wirtz ain't gonna just stay central. That's not Wirtz's game. You just
no. I mean, Coutinho actually was left winger for a large part. He played 10 less than we think he did.
I do think we'll see that from Wirtz as well.
No, I'm saying if Mac was in the 10, I do think he'd have his back, especially that we play a pivot. He'd have his back to goal a lot. I've just given up on the idea of Mac playing 10. I want him in the deeper role.
Big up to Eddie, who's just become a member and gone on to also say Isak is too injury prone. We did look into that and we kind of debunked it.
It's a little bit of a myth. It is a little bit of a myth that he's injury prone, yeah.
Fonzie says no Wirtz. This will no longer be Cal's channel. This is my channel anyway, bro. It's 3 of us that own it. Mantis says, I know it's a different league, but 68 goals in 66 games is a madness. Surely we go for Gyökeres. How much are Sporting wanting for him? About £55 million, I think.
I think that's a gentleman's agreement, though. Remember, Harry Kane had one of those. His buyout clause is actually 100.
Yeah. Calamantas says, I have a feeling we don't sign a centre-back. I think Klopp will use Endo's 5th choice centre-back. By the way, Kanata will do a Trent and leave on a free to PSG. Gee, I hope not. I really hope not. I would like us to sign a centre-back. I've kind of accepted I don't think we will sign a centre-back either this summer.
So let me ask you this then, Cal, based on that, because I kind of agree with you. Is that not a massive worry when we think about what our downfall was the last time we tried to retain the title?
Yeah, of course.
Are we not literally going to be doing exactly the same thing we did last time?
Yeah, but then I'll ask a genuine question. Who on the market do you go and get a centre-back?
At the moment, it's the obvious names that jump out. We take another man from Leverkusen while we're there, or
do we want to deal with Leverkusen after we're dealing with them with this again, though?
Yeah, because I think we've got a good relationship. And Hincape would be way easier to negotiate.
I doubt it. Hincape's agent is the same as Caicedo's as well.
Well, they tried to tell us there wasn't bad blood. It was just Caicedo wanted to be loyal to Chelsea. So maybe that relationship's not broken.
I don't know.
Or you go Nottingham Forest. I know Forest fans won't like it, but do you go Nottingham Forest then? And I mean, I think either of their centre-backs would be a good third choice, to be honest.
80 mil minimum. Murillo ain't worth 80
mil. For either of them, you think no matter which one you want, it would cost you 80 mil.
Yeah, it's Prem tax.
I wonder how much how long their contracts are.
Murillo's got bare time on his contract, if I'm not mistaken.
Does he? I mean, he only just got there, didn't he? So you're probably right, to be honest.
I still maintain I think Schlotterbeck is the person we wanted, but when he went down with the injury, we maybe had a look around, but I don't know. There are good centre backs out there. Diamonde is good. Lucaba's good. Shout out to D Dubs in the chat.
Yeah, you're right. Morello's contract runs until 2029.
But there's some very good centre backs out there, but I just don't see.
Well, would you pay 80 mil for Morello then?
No,
you wouldn't.
No,
you don't think like in this current market that wouldn't kind of be what you would be expecting to pay, no?
And I don't see him as a Slot or an Edwards type of player either.
Who, Murillo?
Yeah, he's pretty short. There's one thing we've seen from the centre backs we signed, we like to sign tall, imposing centre backs.
Is he actually short?
Yeah, he's 6 foot.
Remember when who was that guy the other day we thought was short and he actually isn't?
No, for a centre back, he's short.
Let me check how long the other What's the other centre back's name again? The other good centre.
Oh no, Milinkovic is tall. Milinkovic about 6.
Yeah, that's it. Let me see how much Milinkovic has got left on his contract. What? So you think we'd have to pay like astronomical fees for him as well?
Yeah, they've just got European football as well, if I'm not mistaken. No,
I know, but you know, sometimes these smaller clubs they act like they want that money, but if the player wants to move, then you can kind of haggle it.
I think Hincapié is very good. Diamonde, Lucaba. There are some good players out there. It's just whether I just don't see us moving for anyone. Maybe if we sell Gomez or Kwanzaa, then we do. But otherwise, I don't think we do. Shout out to Ghost in the chat. Branthwaite's another one, but I don't think Everton deal with us.
Well, considering they want one of our players, you never know.
Yeah, I still doubt it though.
Fucking hell, he's 2029 as well.
Yeah, I told you.
But his current market value is 35 mil. Could we get him for 55?
Current value market don't mean nothing, bro.
No, but that's why I just added 20 mil onto it. So add 20 mil onto what the market value is. You don't think we could get him for 55?
No, never.
Sweeten the pot with one of our young boys that maybe that will help their squad. Maybe.
No, bro, they're in Europe, bro. They don't want one of our younger prospects.
You know they're only in the Conference League, though, right? They didn't make the big boy Europe.
No, but they sponge Europe for Nottingham Forest, bro.
No, but I mean players wanting to stay. Like if there was in the Champions League, I think these players would be like, wicked, let's stay. But Conference League, I think the Murillos of this world, you can still tempt to want to leave. I don't know.
No,
I
think we could get him. I just don't see us putting up the money that Nottingham Forest would demand. We could.
I think
if we went to Nottingham Forest and said we want Murillo's jumping at the chance to sign to us. No disrespect to Forest, he's jumping at the chance.
But the price would be, I think. Remember, Prem tax as well.
I think you get Murillo for 70, Milinkovic for 55.
Never.
I think that's what you could get if you really wanted those players.
Never. Murillo's at least 80 mil in today's market. Alex says, weird how we've never been linked to Jimenez, given his relationship with Slot. 50 goals in 82 league games across the last 3 seasons. He moved to AC in January, bro. That's why we weren't linked.
Yeah, and sometimes it don't always translate. I mean, look at, I won't even say his name. You lot have cooked me already, but yeah.
Big up to Vern. Yes, rest in peace to Uriah.
Yeah, man. Uriah Rennie, man.
A true pioneer.
Legendary ref.
And very sad, very young as well, man.
Yeah,
and he just got like a really important role as well. What was it he got again? Like he just what was the role? Oh, my phone's charging. Like he just got like a really important role in like society or something like that. So it's a real shame, man. First Black Premier League, Jamaican as well. So obviously to us it means a little bit more as well. Do you know what I mean? Jamaica, stand up, man. We lost the real one. Even though I'm not gonna lie, he was a little bit one of those refs who did you like the limelight a little bit still. Do you remember? Sometimes you do his.
I remember you're already. Yeah, no, but he was just a bad man. He didn't care, innit? He used to go on a bit.
But you could tell that he was like, yeah, I'll be on Match of the Day tonight. You could tell, like he used to do them.
Yeah, I think most referees are like that. To be fair, nowadays.
Nowadays they're all like that. Yeah.
D&J says, Drift, what happened to the Vert sauce last night?
I'm cutting it off, D&G.
No, but to be fair though,
unless he has this medical in the morning, because that was part of my information.
All right.
So.
To be fair, to give you a bit of leeway, I believe in Germany it's a bank holiday, so no one's working or something like that. I read. So
no, but my source told me that it will be revealed this morning. And I'm not. And the thing is, it
no, but
wasn't
there's
even.
no one's working in. As far as I'm aware, correct me if I'm wrong, Chad. No one in Germany's working or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like
So that's what
they-
I'm saying, Matt. It was poor
or something.
information, isn't it? But again, my
Yeah.
source who got it from his source, it wasn't his original source. So we'll just say that source got this one wrong. But the original source is normally right. So you take second. If you go to a second-hand source, it can happen, innit? It can happen. You know. I still trust my main source. He hasn't been wrong so far.
I think we get some news tomorrow. I'm not ITK.
Well, apparently his medical set for tomorrow.
See, people are saying, today is a holiday in Germany. That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you now, I could be wrong. I think we get an update tomorrow. That's what I think.
We will see. Matt's hairline says drift. I don't know what you think you know, but you don't.
Life comes at you fast, brother.
What's this? Matt's hairline.
Yeah. Temi Tope says, love you guys. Keep up the good job. Why isn't Osman an option? He rejected Saudi for football reasons. He could be cajoled to take a pay cut. Thoughts? Yeah, this Osman stuff needs to kind of stop because his name's kind of been dragged through the mud, and there's never really been any evidence to suggest that he's just chasing money or anything like that. He turned down Chelsea.
I'm going to defend Osman right here, right now,
and he's turned down Saudi.
If you go back and you look at which was pretty much just racism, what happened to him at Napoli, I think he has every right to act the way he's acted, and I couldn't give a shit who tries to say he's got an attitude problem. You do that to me, I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah, like
there ain't no attitude problem with Osman. Do you remember what he went through last season from Napoli?
Bro,
it was disgraceful.
It was the club account that done
this is
the
what
racism.
I'm saying, bro. It was disgraceful, bro.
But
absolutely disgraceful the way they treat him.
Rumors
You're damn right he should have attitude.
Yeah, the rumors were that he did initially accept, but then he changed how much money was for his entourage or something. That's what the rumors are. There's no guarantee.
That's what they said about Sterling, bro.
Yeah, no, true.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's why I'm doing this. The rumors.
Yeah, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Man.
I just don't think he wants to go Saudi. That's just why I just don't want to go.
Yeah. Napoli are forcing him out. I don't think he wanted to go Galatasaray, but he wanted to kick ball. So he went. Yeah. But this is a permanent move, 100%. So he's being a lot more strategic.
Osman ain't going to want to go Napoli to Galatasaray, but he was kind of forced
so
to go
what, man? Osman, there's no attitude problems. Let's allow this rhetoric, man. And I know I don't even want to make it racial, but it's so fucking easy to just say black players are lazy or they're greedy. I'm fucking sick of it. I'm actually sick of
an attitude problem.
Attitude problem.
Yeah, or have an attitude. It's so fucking
They're hard to manage. They're hard to work with.
Yeah, I'm sick of it. If you look what happened to him at Napoli, he had every right to act the way he acted, period. I don't give a shit.
Prime example, without making this too racial, without going too deep, because I don't want to offend no one. But you see what Jack Grealish does in his spare time? No one cares. Jack Grealish put in a bender, no one cares. Rashford goes to an NBA game. What's he doing in his spare time? Why is Rashford wearing Jordans? Why is Rashford sitting there with his chains on?
Yeah.
Bro, it's mad, you know.
Yeah. Well, we saw it. We've seen it. Look how they treated Sterling when he was at City. Look how they treated Foden when they both bought their parents' house.
Yeah, bro. I'm telling you, man.
It's been there for time now, man. It's been there for time.
Crazy, yeah. It's crazy.
If we're talking about ability, it is a little bit different. As in, is Osman the one you would take that risk of paying like 70 mil for, and he would be on like 250 a week as well? I don't know. Would any of you guys actually pay that much for Osman if we're talking about like from a footballing point of view? Would you pay 70 mil and then 250 a week for him?
Do you know what? Maybe I would. Maybe I would. Bro, the thing is, Osman's trajectory was really high at one point, bro. Remember, he won the league with Napoli, going on mad. Him and Cravar mash up the league.
Yeah.
Then he has to deal with the racism. Gets forced out. Then has to go Galatasaray. Banged in goals for Galatasaray like no man's business.
He did bang in a lot of goals last season.
Bro, he
got like 22 league goals or something like that.
Yeah, all he needs now.
Remember on Jamie's channel, though, we did go through the goals and we saw like some of the goalkeepers.
The goalkeeper, the goalkeeper.
I know. But I just think even if you don't think he's an elite striker, he's still a very good striker. And at a top club, Osman will get you goals. I'll put you
I do think it's funny though, guys, that like all the players who we as fans deem as the top players, nobody seems to be going for. It can't be a coincidence, you know. It can't be. Gyökeres, Osman. It can't be a coincidence that nobody's
I
really
think-
chasing these players.
Yeah, I think it's the opposite. I think people are chasing these players. I just think these players haven't made up their minds. Hence why we're not hearing much about it.
Maybe, but there's no rumors or anything though.
There was no rumor about
Osimhen hasn't been linked to one Premier League club, really.
There wasn't one Liverpool to Wirtz rumor before it became a thing either.
No, I know, but Osimhen's been available for so long. You would have thought
Osimhen is made. I'd say he's made for Chelsea. That style of striker.
But they've already got their
If they would,
striker
I know
now.
they got to that, but if they would have if they swapped Jackson with flipping Osimhen, I'm not gonna lie, Chelsea are way more dangerous.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Look, let's finish up with the last topic. Harvey Elliott's come out and spoke about his future today. Given that Salah is going to be going to AFCON and Florian Wirtz is going to need to rest throughout the season, do we actually need to hold on to Elliott and find a way of actually getting him more minutes so that he feels more happy to be in and around this squad? Or do we have to try and get someone else who can cover for Salah and maybe other positions when he's not about?
I'm pretty sure I speak for everyone when I say we all want him to stay. But the way I was speaking was like, he doesn't want to keep sitting on the bench, bro. And I understand it from his. He's thinking in his mind like, like I got no game time now. What do you know when I said timing? Example, we spoke earlier in the show about Bicetic. Was it before the show or during the show? I'm trying to remember that. Yeah. But Bicetic, horrible injury. Yeah. Cheers, Cal. Bicetic injured, might not make it now for pre-season.
I can't lie.
He might not make it for pre-season. It's timing. Elliott had another injury. Remember was it right at the beginning of the season? Mashed up his foot.
Yeah, broke his foot.
Took him a while, and then Slot had a winning formula. So you're thinking, how do you integrate him back in? Here's the thing. I think Slot rates him, but doesn't rate him enough to play him consistently. It's one of them ones. I think he just sees Elliott as a squad player. I also feel like he sees Curtis Jones as a squad player. The difference is, though, Curtis Jones, to his credit, has probably been able to extract a bit more, maybe due to playing time that he's had. Whereas Elliott, unfortunately, hasn't. But whenever Elliott has come on, he's actually done pretty well. Yeah, he's had a couple of like bogus games, or whatever, but he's actually done pretty well. He's one of them players that you wish you had in your squad. A lot of top teams would like Harvey Elliott in their squad, but in terms of like, is he going to play week in, week out? Is he better than Szoboszlai? Is he better than Wirtz? Is he better than Salah? The answer is no, unfortunately. So this is where he has to weigh up his future and see what he wants to do in it.
I really like Elliott, as you lot know already.
Elliott's cold, man.
I just, do you know what, Elliott? You know, sometimes we talk about players being small, and then we're like, but it's a bit of a myth though, because David Silva did this and yada 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 and whatever. I think this might be one of the only times when it's actually true that Elliott is just too small. Like I don't think his ability is good enough for how small he is, if that makes it. Like David Silva was so exceptional that I think it like his ability made it not like a problem with his, like,
I give an example. If
like,
Elliott goes to what's
so
this?
Easily, bro.
If Elliott was at Crystal Palace, you know they play the 2 10s behind Mateta. Yeah. Eze on the left 10, Harvey the right 10. I reckon Elliott cooks at Palace.
Yeah, maybe.
He just got what it is. You just got to find.
He's got to find the right team.
Right, yeah, right team, right club, right tactics, right setup. I'm telling you, Elliott. I know he's diminutive, but he does put himself about. It's not like he's diminutive and just doesn't really.
He's very easy to shrug off the ball, though.
He puts a foot in, hence why he gets mashed up sometimes.
Yeah.
He does put a foot in, you know.
I you know already know. I rate Harvey, man. I don't want him to leave, but I just don't see how he with the. All right, maybe I should reframe it then. The way Liverpool play and we're so physical, I don't think he's got the strength to play in our team.
Yeah, that's right. But in another team, in the Prem.
But yeah, you're right. In another, maybe a Bournemouth or something like that, where it's not so much about
Bournemouth, Brighton, one of them.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, because he's definitely got the talent. So
100.
Fulham. One word answer, boys. Harvey Elliott. Does he stay or go?
I think he stays.
I think he goes, and I don't want him to go though. I think he goes.
I actually think he stays.
I don't think anyone will offer what we want, Matt.
Plus, we need depth and cover as well.
I know.
We'll see.
I hope he stays, but
John Liao just turned 26 today. I thought he was like 23. Wow, even Elliott today. Elliott's 22. I don't think Elliott was that old.
where you going? When
Yeah, he's been around a little while now, Elliott, isn't it?
I know,
Liao
but it's
just
like-
turned 26.
Yeah.
Bro, you know what it is? You know when you see footballers get to a certain age, it just makes me realize how old I am, because even like the fact that Neymar's like 33 freaks me out, bro. Because I remember like when he was 17 at Santos, going mad. And
No,
now
what's
he's
a
like,
freak out is the other day when they talked about Ronaldo and he just turned 40. That was a bit like, oh shit, Ronaldo's
remember the
40.
day, bruv.
I remember him making his debut for Man United at 18,
Yeah.
bro. What the fuck?
Mad.
Crazy. Matt's hairline. Shout out to my brother Matt. It's all love drift.
Pick
Yeah, it's
up
all
Matt's
love.
hairline.
We know how the banner goes.
That picture's mad.
The banner on this channel is always allowed to flow. But be careful though, young brother. Be careful. That's all I'm saying.
Mantis Mario labeled a bad boy and a risk, which he was. Fair enough, but why don't the media keep the same energy with Grealish? Get it boring, to be honest. I mean, we know why.
We know why. Remember,
know
we
why.
know why, man. Grealish is allowed to go out every single night, get caught up in the papers. Ain't nothing happening to Grealish.
Guys, it's not just Grealish. I've never seen a bigger fall off than Player of the Year to what just happened with what do you call it? Foden. Not even the smallest
No, but you know what
thing
it
of
is,
people
though?
talking about it. Not even remotely talking
The
about
Foden
it, bro.
thing has got. I don't know why it hasn't caught on even to the media, but you're right. How can someone have such a great season and have one of the? You see, Phil Foden this season just gone. He was bad, bro. Like I can't even. You know, there was no standout moments. Where you're like, all right, Phil Foden. There was just nothing
He
to
might
talk
have
about.
been their worst player this season.
One of them. Hence why I think people are
Yeah.
sleeping on Foden, because if he gets back to the form that we know he can, that's a massive weapon in Man City's armor.
It's a big if though, Cal.
No, of
Because in
course.
5 years, he's only had one standout year, and it was the year he won Player of the Year. So there's more evidence that he won't do it than there will.
The other seasons he wasn't bad though. He was very good the other
No,
seasons.
it wasn't bad, but he just wasn't living up to his
stand
potential.
out. No, he was
Yeah,
living
he
up to his potential at the time, but he just wasn't
I don't
stand
know,
out.
man.
He absolutely was. Big up to Uncle Rod, says big up Drift, Matt and Cal, bless, love Kopish. Big up yourself,
Big
Uncle
up
Rod.
Uncle Rod.
Big up
You
Uncle
know what?
Rod.
Just quickly, big up what's his name? Kayan. He said not just Foden, Palmer's full off. Yet he gets talked about like he's on the same level as Salah. That's another one. Remember Carragher was saying Rare Tete's player with the Premier League and all them things there. And in my opinion, he still even wasn't at that time, though, in my opinion.
The difference is though, bro, is that
Yeah.
Palmer had a very good start to the season and a very good end to the season. So the middle part was trash, but he did have a good start and a good end, whereas Foden was just rubbish the whole season.
No, I know, but it's when you get talked about as one of the best players in the Premier League, your standards have to be of a certain level. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so crazy because if this was Salah, oh my look, bruv, I'm going to tell you right now, if Salah doesn't have the season he has last year, which we don't expect him to, Salah's finished. He's not the same. Brother, Salah's astronomical. Look at the numbers that he's been putting up year after year after year after year, bro. It's crazy what people expect.
Jay says, no, Harvey is good, but just not good enough. Also goes on to say, what big European club does Harvey Elliott get into?
Leverkusen, Dortmund,
big club. Oh, which big
Napoli,
European club?
Inter Milan.
He doesn't get into Inter Milan's team.
He could go Napoli.
That team start, bro. Mkhitaryan starts for them, bro.
Look up player of the year, Napoli, Scott McTominay, and Gilmore and them boy there.
He could play in Italy easy.
He could play in Italy if you wanted to.
AJ Knows Ball says, big up Kopish, my boy. Keja is leaving shake my head. Yeah, it is happening.
You're right. You can kind of see the writings on the wall, man.
Early World Cup predictions, final 4 pick. Oh, Jay, that's a whole show, bro.
That's way too early, bro.
Yeah, that's a whole show. We could actually do a show on that, to be fair.
Yeah. Facts.
We will do.
Yeah. All right, boys. Anything you want to say to people before we take them out?
I'm gonna be going live Wednesday morning, you know how I do this. Wednesday morning, Tuesday night, 1 a.m. Argentina, Colombia. Big up. I'm gonna do the watch along for that on my channel on Big Up. Wednesday morning, 1 a.m. people. Wednesday morning, 1 a.m.
What about yourself?
I'm gonna do the England Senegal game tomorrow as well. So if anyone's interested in that one, then join me for that as well. But no, big up everyone, man. I know we disagree on stuff. Rude people have been banned, and we move, man.
Big up Jay again, says Syria not a bad boy league. I'm in the process of doing a show on different leagues at the moment, so I'm going to keep that little tight. And
I'm gonna say this though, I know everyone wants to crash out Inter because they got mash up, but they still made it to a final, so the league can't be that bad.
PSG
I'm just saying
level this season as well.
I just think the quality of football in general is just regressed so much compared to like 10, 15, 20 years ago. Like the quality of football now is just so much lower than it should be, but it is what it is.
Football's about systems now rather than it is about player ability. You know?
Yeah. 7:45 tomorrow, guys, for the time. 7:45 tomorrow, guys.
I'm going to be going live after this on the Sanderson Show to recap UFC 316, and then also straight after that, I'll be on Monty's channel, Big Six Bants, for the Liverpool Therapy Show as well. And then tomorrow night, me, Jamie, and Luke will probably go live on the Sanderson Show to just have a chat about MMA and combat as well. So you got
Jamie's on holiday, remember, bro?
You're right, he's on holiday. So yeah,
James
it'll be probably me and Luke. We'll see if we can rope someone else in. So we'll see. People, look, we've had well over 1,600 of you in here all show. Please do smash that like button. As we said, we're trying to get to 1,500 likes for this video. If you can make that happen, we greatly appreciate it. It'll help the video spread far and wide, and it'll put in the algorithm, and the algorithm will do the rest. So please do that, guys. As
just
Matt
one more
said,
thing, guys. Look, I'm shameless. I don't care. Arsenal, if you don't get this Mendy deal done, you better run.
oh yeah,
you better run. Because the rumors are Mendy's told Arsenal, hold your horses. I'm gonna see what Real Madrid have got to say. If they lose out on just hide. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
People, you know what to do now. Head over to Matt's channel, subscribe to what he's doing on Big Up. Head over to Drifty's channel, subscribe to what he's doing on Big Up, and make sure you subscribe here and smash the like buttons. People, enough love to you all. Till we see you again. Stay safe, stay blessed. We're Kopish. All right, people. Take care.
Peace.
Love.